Part 23. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 221. Have you ever experienced that feeling of suddenly losing weight while sleeping? It seems, as if I have experienced it. Yeah, it feels quite strange. It's scary. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's definitely not the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, go to sleep. It doesn't matter what time it is. Don't you have to get up early tomorrow? So you just want to fool me like this? What is fooling? What are you talking about? Strawberry print. Gu Huiyan wanted to pretend that he had just fallen asleep and didn't hear clearly, so he could blurt out and get through. But it was obvious that Pei Jingshu never thought of letting him go so easily. The lights in the room had been turned off, and Sister Pei's watery eyes were staring at Gu Huiyan. Because there was no light in her eyes, but even so, Gu Huiyan felt like she was being scrutinized. Strawberry printed hot search, I don't think I heard you explain it to me. Pei Jingshu originally had her back to Gu Huiyan, but at some point she quietly turned around, and she was lying face to face with Gu Huiyan. The tone of her speech was quite soft, and there was no hint of emotion or joy. Even if she said that she should be jealous or angry, she seemed to be very calm, as if the matter was of no importance to her. However, based on Gu Huiyan's understanding of her, Gu Huiyan knew very well that by saying this, she had already shown that she cared. To be honest, at this moment, Gu Huiyan said he was happy, and he was scared, but he was really scared. Pei Jingshu didn't even send him a message to ask after strawberry print was a hot search topic before. At that time, he was still a little disappointed and felt that Pei Jingshu didn't care about him and there was a gap. Now she asked, so Gu Huiyan was naturally happy. But what about this matter? Because it was related to Shang Zuoyan, it was not easy to tell Pei Jingshu about it, so he was a little scared and panicked. When they were at the barbecue restaurant in the evening, Gu Huiyan wanted to say it, but after thinking about it, he finally didn't say it. Gu Huiyan didn't think it would be okay if he said it, and Pei Jingshu could understand him. No woman wants to hear her boyfriend say that he kissed another girl, even if it was forced. Pei Jingshu usually looks like a very loving and gentle girl, but judging from her appearance and attitude when she asked Gu Huiyan about scripted kiss scene and strawberry print at night, she probably also belongs to the kind of girl who rubs her eyes. No type of sand. Gu Huiyan thought that if he said something, she might sit up immediately, put on her clothes and leave. Anyway, Gu Huiyan rejected Shang Zuoyan that night and did nothing. He didn't feel sorry for anyone. If he said it, it would cause conflicts, so it was better not to say it. So Gu Huiyan just made an excuse and said. Then the rumors have been refuted. Mosquitoes bite and scratch them. Didn't you see? In the dark room, Pei Jingshu's eyes were staring at Gu Huiyan. Pei Jingshu believed that eyes could not deceive, so she wanted to stare into Gu Huiyan's eyes and let his eyes tell her whether he had deceived her. But there was no light in the room, it was so dark, I couldn't see anything. In the dark environment, even if Gu Huiyan's eyes dodge, she can't see clearly. Thinking of this, Pei Jingshu couldn't help frowning her eyebrows, and pouted her little mouth in a contrasting cuteness, showing a bit of distress on her face. She wanted to turn on the light and stare carefully into Gu Huiyan's eyes to see if he was lying to her, but when she thought of turning on the light, the bad guy would definitely take the opportunity to see everything he was supposed to see. She really doesn't have much clothes on now. After hesitating and thinking for a moment, Pei Jingshu shook her head slightly and did not choose to turn on the light more seriously. She thought that she should trust Gu Huiyan and give him some due respect. If she pushed him too hard, he would feel that he was not trusted. Besides, she pressed the question, what answer did she want? Let Gu Huiyan say that he betrayed him. Do not make jokes. She is too sensible and well educated. This kind of lady can really attract men very steadily. So she squirmed a little, suppressed her shyness, got into Gu Huiyan's arms, pressed her pretty face against his hot chest, and whispered, "I believe you." Gu Huiyan breathed a sigh of relief after hearing this, and couldn't help but raise his hand and gently put it on the back of Pei Jingshu's head, and gently stroked the smooth hair a few times. Before he could say anything, Pei Jingshu suddenly turned her head to look at him and asked, "So, how did you get the strawberry mark?" "You don't know," Gu Huiyan looked questioning. I heard someone say it, but I didn't, and I'm not very sure." Pei Jingshu was also glad that she didn't turn on the light, because she always felt that her face was so hot. She had only heard of the word strawberry mark for the first time when it was trending on Gu Huiyan. When I first read it that day, I didn't know what it meant. I found out after asking Du Niang. If you don't understand it, don't understand it? This thing is not a good thing. Gu Huiyan scratched his head. He really didn't want to continue talking about this topic with Pei Jingshu. He might not have been very impressed when Shang Zuoyan left a strawberry mark on him that day, but it was actually quite painful. Anything on the body's surface that is the opposite of your skin color is not a good thing. Who knew, Pei Jingshu would ask. How do you know it's not something good? I've heard that too, Gu Huiyan replied. Pook. His look made Pei Jingshu laugh again. She thought about it and said, I want to try. Ah. Gu Huiyan was stunned at the time. Try, what to try? Strawberry Prince. Pei Jingshu is also quite shy, but she is a strong girl at heart. Some time ago, her boyfriend had what appeared to be a strawberry mark on his neck, which was rumored by many people. She wanted to say that she really left a mark for Gu Huiyan. A few strawberry prints, wouldn't it mean that no one would spread rumors? Gu Huiyan raised his eyebrows and looked at Pei Jingshu in surprise. To be honest, he never thought that Pei Jingshu could say such a thing. Forget it. Gu Huiyan grinned and said. It hurts quite a bit. Let's try it. Before Gu Huiyan refused, Pei Jingshu crept over quietly, stretched out her white jade neck, pursed her red lips, and sucked on Gu Huiyan's neck. The black hair fell freely, covering her face, and also scattered on Gu Huiyan's shoulders, chest, and other places. Gu Huiyan finally suppressed the urge to eat her tonight. As soon as she came up, the body fragrance on her body penetrated into Gu Huiyan's breath like it was life-threatening, making Gu Huiyan unable to hold back anymore. Casually, it wrapped around her slender waist. Hiss. Let me tell you, it really hurts. When Gu Huiyan was kissed by Shang Zuoyan that night, he wanted to reject her and push her away. His energy would be distracted and his attention would not be focused there, so the reality would not be so profound. But this time when Pei Jingshu made strawberry marks, she was completely focused on it. Because of this, Gu Huiyan felt quite painful. It hurts, but the effect is not ideal. Pei Jingshu inhaled for a while, and when she got up, she saw that there was still red at first, but then the redness disappeared after a while. Pei Jingshu looked puzzled. She just did what was said on the internet. Gu Huiyan was also happy. In fact, Pei Jingshu was still too gentle. She didn't dare to use force. To put it bluntly, the strawberry mark was a skin wound. The wound had to be sucked out. She would definitely not be able to leave it if she didn't use force. I'll try again. Pei Jingshu tried again, this time with a little more force, but the effect was still not obvious. Call. She breathed heavily, arranged her hair a little, and said helplessly and shyly. I now believe that the one you had before, it wasn't the strawberry mark. What she meant was that this thing was so difficult to make and that anyone could do it. It was definitely not a strawberry mark that Gu Huiyan had before. Ahaha. Gu Huiyan felt happy. How could he be innocent without proving his innocence? Are you still doing it? Gu Huiyan asked. Well, let's try again later, I'm a little tired. Pei Jingshu curled up and pursed her lips, her mouth was a little sore from the kiss. Gu Huiyan smiled, then suddenly turned over and rushed over. You, what are you doing? Didn't I agree? Hiss. Pei Jingshu thought Gu Huiyan was going to do something to her. She had agreed not to do anything tonight. At that moment, she was quite nervous. She thought she had set him on fire again by sucking on the strawberry seal just now. Who knew? Before he finished speaking, he felt a stinging pain on his neck. Only then did she realize that this was Gu Huiyan leaving a strawberry mark on her. To be honest, it felt strange when Gu Huiyan lay on top of her. He was like a big furnace, always so hot, and the scent of male hormones always crept into her nose, making her so embarrassed that she dared not speak. Maybe it was a little painful from sucking the strawberry, Pei Jingshu couldn't help but make such a sound. As soon as she said it, she immediately raised her hand to cover her mouth, wondering how she could make such a sound. Originally, the strawberry print was almost finished, but Gu Huiyan just remembered. But Pei Jingshu's voice seemed to ignite him directly. Call. He stood up, breathing heavily, and stared at Pei Jingshu. Well. Before Pei Jingshu could react, he kissed Pei Jingshu again. To be honest, both Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu couldn't control themselves at the moment, and Pei Jingshu didn't seem to be so resistant when she hugged Gu Huiyan. She might really not raise her hand to suppress Gu Huiyan's hand in taking off her clothes this time. But just then. Boom. A loud thunder. Suddenly there was a sound from outside the window. Walk. Gu Huiyan was startled and his whole body was agitated. Ah! Pei Jingshu was so frightened that she trembled all over, hugged Gu Huiyan tightly, screamed, and completely retracted her head into Gu Huiyan's arms. Gu Huiyan turned his head and glanced out the window. Whoa! The strong wind kept blowing, even the curtains were blown up, and raindrops kept hitting the windows and the iron sheets outside, making a crisp sound. It's raining. It's the season change, and there's always been a lot of rain in the Shandong area these days. It rained almost everywhere this morning, and it's not surprising that it will continue to rain in the evening. But it just fell, and it chose that moment just now, and when it came up, there was a thunder. What are you doing? Gu Huiyan's mentality was shattered. He thought to himself, oh my god, have I done something unreasonable? You just happened to give me a thunder at this time. What scumbag out there swears that you, damn mother hummer, will die? Hitui. What a thing. Gu Huiyan wanted to say that I would be sorry if I really slept with Shang Zuoyan that night. Pei Jingshu, you are so scared now that you are thundering. But I didn't do anything. I even pushed it away and didn't say it was a different price. Are you going to scare me by giving me a thunderbolt at a time like that? At this moment, Gu Huiyan had countless things to complain about. There are countless grass and mud horses running wildly in my heart. Before he can say something like oh my god, you are a thief, beep 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 beep. Sudden. Boom. Another thunder. There was a burst of brightness outside the window, and even with the curtains drawn, the room seemed to be a little brighter. Gu Huiyan. Okay, I don't dare to scold him anymore. If I do, the thunder may hit him next time. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu seemed very nervous when there was thunder. She huddled up in the quilt, hugging Gu Huiyan tightly, and her body seemed to be shaking a little. The confusion and infatuation just now was almost awakened by the thunder. Looking at Pei Jingshu, who was quite afraid of thunder, Gu Huiyan felt very distressed. He immediately hugged her, gently stroked her head, and said, okay, it's okay, it's okay. There are really many girls in this world who are afraid of thunder. Pei Jingshu said that when her sister was sick, her parents took her to the hospital. It happened that her aunt went home on leave and she was at home alone. It happened to thunder and rain that day, and she was so scared. I huddled under the quilt all night and didn't dare to sleep, which left a bit of a shadow. Since then, she has been afraid of thunder and dislikes rainy days. Generally, she will not go out on rainy days unless it is necessary for work. Even if she does, she will try to work indoors instead of outdoors. When she was saying this, Gu Huiyan suddenly thought that it seemed to be raining outside when she came tonight, so she still came here with an umbrella. This made Gu Huiyan a little touched. Rumble. Outside, there was thunder. Crash. It rained hard and for a long time. Gu Huiyan didn't know what time he and Pei Jingshu had talked, but he fell asleep listening to the sound of rain. They talked a lot, not just about the rain, but also about how they should get along. They should at least send messages every day, even if they couldn't see them, even if the reply time could not be determined, they should at least send them or at least say them. We can no longer do what we did in the past few months, posting again and again without getting a reply. Try to negotiate the time when talking on the phone, for example, agree on a time when two people are resting at the same time and can answer the phone. Make time at that time, at least listen to the other party's voice, at least say a few words. No matter what, we can't make it the same as before, like the two of us are not familiar with each other. This night made Gu Huiyan really confident and looking forward to their future. Time came to the next morning in a blink of an eye. When Gu Huiyan woke up, there was no one around him. At first, Gu Huiyan thought Pei Jingshu had left, and was shocked, wondering if she didn't even say hello. But when I sat up, I heard the sound of water flowing from the bathroom. Gu Huiyan was relieved. He put on his clothes, put on his slippers, and walked to the bathroom. At this time, Pei Jingshu had already put on the clothes she wore yesterday, black jeans and a gray sweater. One thing to say, tight-fitting jeans are really not very popular now. Loose-fitting jeans are more popular now. Tight-fitting jeans will give people the feeling of a smart boy or a smart girl. But Pei Jingshu wore these tight jeans, which just made her slender legs look very good. Her legs were too straight. This dress also depends on your face. Someone has commented on Pei Jingshu's outfit before, saying that many of her dressing styles are similar to her usual private clothes. If she covers her head, she feels very energetic. But as soon as that flawless face is revealed, well, she transforms directly from a spiritual girl into a fairy. It felt like her clothes immediately soared with her. Pattering. The water from the faucet was flowing continuously. Pei Jingshu reached out to splash the water and looked in the mirror to wipe away the strawberry mark left by Gu Huiyan last night on her neck. Her pretty face was filled with helplessness. She didn't get the strawberry print done for Gu Huiyan last night, so she thought Gu Huiyan couldn't do it for her, so she didn't care. Who knew that when she washed her face and looked in the mirror in the morning, the strawberry mark was very obvious and appeared firmly on her neck. Pei Jingshu's skin is very white. She belongs to the standard cold fair-skinned beauty. Even without makeup, her skin is ridiculously white. Because of this, the slightest bit of redness and swelling on such skin is very obvious, very conspicuous, and can be seen at a glance. Especially on the sensitive side of the neck. Right now. Look at Pei Jingshu's neck in the mirror. The side of the neck, which was so white that it was even a little blue due to veins, had a very obvious red strawberry mark, which was very contrasting. It hurts, but it doesn't hurt. It's just very obvious and won't go away. Pei Jingshu frowned. She didn't say anything, and she didn't show her annoyance. She just used her hands to stir up the water over and over again, trying to wipe it away. A bit silly. Puff. Gu Huiyan almost couldn't hold back his laughter. To be honest, Pei Jingshu's current appearance reminded him of the scene when he was kissed by Shang Zuoyan and got a strawberry mark on his neck. At that time, he also wanted to wipe it off with water. Pei Jingshu heard the voice and looked over. When she saw Gu Huiyan leaning in front of the door frame with a playful look on her face, she looked like she couldn't laugh or cry. She raised her hand and patted Gu Huiyan. If it were Shang Zuoyan, she would be acting coquettishly and saying, "I blame you for what to do. It's so embarrassing for me to go out." But Pei Jingshu is not this kind of coquettish person. Her eyes were full of helplessness, soft and weak, which was pitiful. "What do you want me to do?" She brushed back her messy hair and asked helplessly. She is Pei Jingshu, a top-tier female star with tens of millions of fans online. I have to face the camera all the time wherever I go. There is such an obvious strawberry mark on my neck. It's so embarrassing. If it's difficult to do, then don't do it. Gu Lulu smiled swishily, leaned over and hugged Pei Jingshu's slender waist from behind, and said with a smile. "Anyway, you know it was me who kissed you, so why are you afraid that others will tell you?" Gu Huiyan was reading hot searches last night, and those LSPs were crazy about how Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu spent last night. It may be true that Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu have not made any substantial progress, but with such a strawberry printed on Pei Jingshu's neck, Gu Huiyan is quite proud. "Let everyone know that I left this for my girlfriend." Pei Jingshu gave him a rare look. Gu Huiyan was shameless and she wanted to be shameless. She had to find a way to cover it up. But this seems, not something that can be covered easily with foundation. Pei Jingshu silently held her forehead, thinking that if she went to the airport and was photographed like this, she would really be embarrassed. Gu Huiyan, her enemy, would really cause trouble for her. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Bulletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 222. Chapter 221 Hot Search, Hashtag Shang Zuoyan lost weight Hashtag. She is in very bad condition. Pei Jingshu swore that she really didn't mean it. But she still went out to the airport with that very conspicuous strawberry print. She didn't cover it with foundation or a scarf. She just left her strawberry mark naked in the air and exposed to everyone's view. There was not much movement when we took off. After landing in Shanghai, there would be some fans to pick up the plane, and there would also be people squatting and taking photos on behalf of others. So Pei Jingshu, who landed in Shanghai, quickly became a hot search topic. Hashtag Pei Jingshu has strawberry marks on her neck. Hashtag. Once this hot search was released, it quickly became popular all over the internet. The hot search rankings skyrocketed. I don't know how many people came to watch after hearing the news. When they saw Pei Jingshu appearing at the airport, wearing a mask and sunglasses, and her flawless white neck had a few bright red, conspicuous, and obvious marks that looked like strawberry marks, the group of people went crazy. No. It's fashionable to trick Go into being a shark now. You don't spread dog food like this, do you? I know that Sister Pei and Gu Lulu last night. At Gu Huiyan, "You old man, look what you did to me, Sister Pei." Haha, I feel like she did it on purpose. There seemed to be strawberry marks on Gu Huiyan's neck some time ago, and I remember it was on trending searches. Sister Pei loves him too much. Just to help him break the rumors, she got a strawberry mark on her neck. I guess Gu Laoliu won't be able to get out of bed this morning. Gu Huiyan, I can't help it, I gave you too much. This is not a bus going to kindergarten. Let me get off. Last night, when Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan were on the hot search list with together no matter how far away, many people were discussing intensely, saying that they would definitely have a good intimate relationship at night. Good guy, Pei Jingshu showed up at the airport early this morning and directly showed them the strawberry print. This is such a sweet rhythm. There really is no one between them, okay. There is a saying that Pei Jingshu at the airport occasionally shyly covers the strawberry marks on her neck, but the shyer she is, the more satisfied everyone is with candy. What's funny is that while Pei Jingshu was on the hot search list because of her strawberry print, Gu Huiyan's comment section on major platforms was down. Many people asked whether Gu Huiyan was okay, could he still get out of bed this morning, and so on. What's even more funny is that Gu Huiyan even replied. He said, "Thank you for the invitation. I'm full of energy. I can make up to 100,000 per minute." As soon as these words came out, there was a burst of laughter. Many people said, "Gu Lalu, just be tough, your legs must be weak now. The more he talks, the more energetic he becomes, the more he talks, the more colorful he becomes, the more he talks, the more naughty he becomes." As a result, the comment management of many platforms is almost out of control. Some social platforms have no choice but to deal with Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu. It's true that they fell in love and the whole network knew about it. Is that the case? Especially Pei Jingshu, can't you cover up the strawberry marks? In short, on this day, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's Pei Ban Takes Care of CP once again went viral across the internet. It is worth mentioning that the song Together No Matter How Far Away sung by Gu Huiyan last night was very popular. The composition, arrangement, and lyrics of the song were very sophisticated and advanced, and it attracted praise from many seniors in the industry. Many people will say, as expected of Gu Huiyan's work. Produced by Gu Huiyan, it must be a high-quality product. It may also be the blessing of Pei Jingshu's surprise appearance. Last night, the number of views, likes, and comments on related videos soared like crazy. There was one video in which Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu cried with joy, and Gu Huiyan put a hat on Pei Jingshu to cover his face. Wait, the album has more than 5 million likes. It's also terrifying. Because Together No Matter How Far Away was so popular, Gu Huiyan had to quickly put the recording of the song on the schedule. By the way, this song is really Gu Huiyan's first new work after his new album. After releasing his new album, he has been busy with work and has not had much chance to release new songs. Many people say that he has exhausted his talent. Woolen cloth. This slapped many people in the face again. How do you say that? Gulen has always acted elegantly, and his father-in-law has always been majestic. My colleagues, there are many who care about Huiyan, some who surpass him. No. Not only recently. A few more months passed, and still nothing. Time goes by, and it's the 12th lunar month of winter in a blink of an eye. As soon as Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu separated, it lasted for nearly 3 or 4 months. During these 3 or 4 months, they were still the same as before, running around the country and busy with various tasks like crazy. But what is different from before is that they often send each other some messages recently. They may not be able to go together due to time constraints, but they will definitely reply as long as they see them. Occasionally, we will make an appointment to have a phone call or video call together, listen to the other person's voice, and see how the other person looks. In fact, they should have been like this a long time ago, but who let them have no experience? This is both the first time for a long-distance relationship and the first time for such a relationship. One has a cold temperament, while the other is used to thinking about her. If there is little communication, problems will easily arise. It's pretty good now. You may not be able to see her, but at least you won't be unfamiliar with her, and you won't have random thoughts. After that night, Gu Huiyan felt that his relationship with Pei Jingshu had made some substantial progress. In the past, I always felt that I was too unfamiliar and too respectful. The only thing that made Gu Huiyan feel a little regretful was the thunder that night. If there had been no thunder, maybe Pei Jingshu would have truly belonged to him. When Gu Huiyan talked about this, he felt that it was quite hummed. Those people on the internet came to ask him if his legs were weak when Pei Jingshu's strawberry printed airport Reuters was trending that day. He said it hard, but in fact that he and Pei Jingshu didn't do anything at night, just having fun with each other. Well, Gu Huiyan would sometimes sigh helplessly, silently wondering when he and Pei Jingshu could really play house or something. From what she meant, she was thinking of completely handing herself over to Gu Huiyan when it came time to talk about marriage. But the problem is that the flowering period of female stars is not short. I have never heard of any female star talking about marriage when her career is on the rise. Pei Jingshu is still young. When she wants to get married, she will have to be after 30 no matter what. So has Gu Huiyan really been holding back these past few years? Well, thinking of this, Gu Huiyan will sigh helplessly. Occasionally, he will understand the seniors in the industry who can't control the fried rice noodles and add chicken essence. There are too many temptations in this circle. It's true that not everyone has Gu Huiyan's determination. After being drunk, he was raped by Shang Zuoyan. If pushed, you can still escape intact. Speaking of Shang Zuoyan, recently, she doesn't seem to be in good condition. It's not like that, it's really bad. A few days ago, Shang Zuoyan was on a hot search, and her name was #Shang Zuoyan lost weight. Hashtag. In the video, Shang Zuoyan lost a lot of weight. She was actually a little fat before. Even if she regularly controlled her figure, she would always gain a lot of weight because she couldn't control her mouth. Fortunately, she also takes this route. A little flesh on her body will make her look more tempting and spicy. But in the video that day, she was as skinny bones. Her originally plump legs were so thin that they looked like chopstick legs. The pink cake skirt she liked so much was even a little wobbly on her body. Not only has he lost weight, but his mental state is also not very good. There are obvious dark circles on his face, as if he often stays up late. In the airport Reuters, although she occasionally smiled and said hello to passers-by, I don't know why, but her smile gave people a very forced feeling, not as sweet and happy as before. Netizens were also quite distressed. Many people in the comment area were saying, "What's wrong with Shang Zuoyan? Why have you lost so much weight? Maybe it's because she has been called fat recently. I don't understand why so many people suddenly came out and called her fat. How much pressure has she endured from the beginning of paddling at the concert to now? I feel so sad. My Yin-Yan. From September on the Gregorian calendar to the 12th lunar month of winter, half a year has passed since Gu Huiyan went to support Shang Zuoyan's concert. At that time, Shang Zuoyan was in very good condition. Even though her physical strength was occasionally exhausted due to continuous concerts, the attendance at the concerts was high and the atmosphere was very good, so at least her mental state was very good. Especially the night Gu Huiyan went there, she was so happy. When she sang Your Smile, the contagiousness of that smile seemed to be felt by the whole audience. But ever since Gu Huiyan left that night, she started to go downhill. At first, it might have been because I was rejected by Gu Huiyan that night. I was very sad and had a bad temper for a few days. I was out of shape whether it was rehearsals or official performances. If you rehearse well, but if you don't perform well in the performance, you will be scolded as paddling. Shang Zuoyan's concert paddling has even been on the hot search, and the popularity is so high. The reason is that she suddenly stopped dancing and stepped off the stage. The three teammates were confused. What is unexpected is that this incident actually triggered a series of chain effects. Many people began to pop up in the comment area, saying what? I actually wanted to say it a long time ago. Her character is too willful. She can do whatever she wants. I have long disliked Shang Zuoyan. How can any girl group member be as fat as her? I really don't know why she is the captain and C position of their team, when the other three are obviously better than her. She really should lose weight. I don't know how Shen Yuki and the other three managed to get along with her. After Shang Zuoyan stepped down, I felt that only Su Xiun and the three of them were lacking. They were the same without her. The entertainment industry is a very magical place, and the atmosphere and comments on the internet are also very foolish. For example, some people were famous as the military school idol not long ago. Wherever they went, they attracted onlookers and were regarded as their dream lovers by countless girls, who said, people just have to fall in love with him again and again at all ages. After a drama is aired, within a few days, he becomes a greasy man. Those rhythmical people not only said that his drama was greasy, but also said that the cover of his new magazine was greasy, and even dug out various previous materials that should be praised to criticize him. Black without any lower limit. Anyone with eyes can see that this guy has offended someone. Why? Because actually not many people watch his drama. Even if it is a fan of the drama, the fan group of that drama is really not big. There are really not that many people who can bring it to the top 10 trending level. Fish-eating brother Chiang is such a big hit, but that's actually it. Can this notoriously greasy drama also hit this level? Are you kidding me? In the same way, Shang Zhuoyan may actually have offended someone. Maybe I can't say that I offended anyone, but it was probably done by some opponents. In itself, Zhuoyan Shang's resources are second to none in the industry. Most of the top resources of artists belonging to this type are almost firmly occupied by Shang Zhuoyan. In terms of resources, Shang Zhuoyan has almost no other interests. If an artist of the same type can outshine her, can it not arouse the jealousy of some people? As long as she can be brought down, the resources in her hand will be enough to feed countless artists of the same type. There will be many benefits in working together to bring her down, so naturally some people will be willing to do this. So, after Shang Zhuoyan's concert paddling became a hot search, many opponents took the opportunity to add insult to injury and began to attack Shang Zhuoyan's figure, personality, etc. Even at the end of Crystal Love season, Shang Zhuoyan was criticized for insisting on confessing her love to Gu Huiyan despite knowing that Pei Jingshu had successfully joined hands with Gu Huiyan. Obviously, this was the most praised thing before. Many girls envied her bravery and confidence, saying that she lived the way that all girls most yearn for. But now, people are saying that this matter is because of her immorality, and even to the point of knowing 3 things and doing 3 things. So in the past 6 months, Shang Zhuoyan probably received the biggest online report since her debut. Maybe it's because the rhythm is very loud. Even if the concert work has not stopped, Shang Zhuoyan will occasionally pay attention to her words and deeds. In some public places, I am no longer as confident and cheerful as before, I have begun to avoid some questions deliberately, I have begun to laugh less, and I have become less happy. Even because of the voices saying she is fat on the internet, it is natural for her to regularly go to the gym, lose weight, and go on a diet. She is already in a bad mood and is on a diet and cannot eat. How can you make her happy? Shang Zhuoyan. Such a person who loves to eat. But I can only eat cucumbers, eggs and those fruit salads. Even if you eat it secretly. She is usually a girl who likes to focus her stress on eating. If she has anything to do, she will just have a big meal. People often say that she is heartless. But this time, I was so stressed that I couldn't eat. It's sad enough in itself, but the more I can't eat, the sadder it becomes. Why should she be happy? In fact, the impact that Gu Huiyan had on her that night could be as small as a novel or as big as a novel. She might be able to digest it on her own, and it would take more than a month at most to get over it. The hard life of being a trainee abroad for several years has made Shang Zhuoyan realize the reality clearly. She understands that there is nothing that cannot be overcome, it is just a matter of time. However, just when she was about to get over the Gu Huiyan incident, she was frantically reported online because of the chain effect caused by her concert rowing. After being reported online, I have to lose weight, go on a diet, practice dancing, and work. In the meantime, I saw the news about Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's long-distance love meeting and Pei Jingshu's strawberry print, and I couldn't help but think of that night, and then became sad. The huge pressure of the concert, the bad voices on the internet, the shadow Gu Huiyan left on her that night, plus the need to control her body and diet. And so on, a vicious cycle. All this torture made Shang Zuoyan exhausted physically and mentally. At first I was forced to go on a diet, but gradually I didn't want to eat anymore. I couldn't eat my favorite cake anymore. I felt like I couldn't cheer up, had no energy, and was in a bad mood. Very sad. These days, she often can't sleep. Winter is the saddest time for female celebrities. She even caught a cold a few days ago. In one performance, she even performed with a fever. You have to ask her if she feels sorry for herself. She actually didn't think so. When you are in suffering, you will not feel that you are suffering at the moment. Only after going through these difficult years, looking back, or hearing from others, will you be surprised to feel that you were suffering at that time. It turned out to be very bitter. It's not like she has never experienced hardships. When she was most tired while working abroad, she was rushing to a performance. When she got in the car, she took a bite of bread and held it in her mouth. She didn't even eat or swallow the bite of bread when she got there. Because I was so tired that I fell asleep because I had no energy left to chew. Those days may have been just as sad now, but Shang Zuoyan is not yet broken. As for depression, that's even more impossible. She never believed in depression, only that it was caused by eating too much. She had been interviewed before, and someone said that she shouldn't have depression because she was so happy every day. She laughed and said, "Don't mention depression to me when you have no food to eat." She had lived a life where she didn't even have time to eat, so she had no time to be depressed. Recently, she is just in a bad state, which has nothing to do with depression. She is actually quite strong. When Gu Huiyan saw the hot searches, he would also feel a little distressed when he saw those photos of Shang Zuoyan looking thin and unattractive. How to say? From the moment they met, Shang Zuoyan's impression of Gu Huiyan was that she was a lively, cheerful, confident, and sunny girl. She was happy every day and could chat with anyone and make people laugh, no matter what. No matter who you talk to, you can always hear her charming smile. But the Shang Zuoyan on this hot search seems to be a different person. The Shang Zuoyan whom Gu Huiyan knows seems to be two different people. After that night, Gu Huiyan never saw Shang Zuoyan again, nor did he send any more messages, because he was also very busy. Sometimes he was so busy that he went back to the hotel and fell asleep to wash his hair. There was also very little news on the internet. Focus on. So he only recently found out what happened to Shang Zuoyan. But to be honest, even if he knew what Shang Zuoyan had gone through, he wouldn't be able to say anything. Because he is not qualified to speak for Shang Zuoyan. If he does, it will arouse more public opinion. I don't know why, but after reading the hot search about Shang Zuoyan's sudden weight loss, Gu Huiyan felt very depressed, as if there was a stone blocking it, making him breathless. Maybe Shang Zuoyan didn't blame him, but he always felt that he had some responsibility. This made him couldn't help but think, should he, from the perspective of a friend, send a message or call Shang Zuoyan appropriately and show concern. If you're not a fan, I think it's funny just writing this. No one listens to what we say, but those troll marketing accounts can hack whatever they want. Why? They run the internet. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 223. The new year is approaching, and celebrities and artists are very busy. Various New Year's Eve performances, annual celebrations, brand annual meetings, etc. will all be concentrated at the end of the year, and some well-known artists will also participate in the official rehearsals of the Spring Festival Gala. For example, Pei Jingshu, this year as a new generation of powerful singer, was invited to the Spring Festival Gala stage to sing a song. As for this song, it's Together No Matter How Far Away by Gu Huiyan. Because I thought this song was quite suitable for a girl's voice, after she and Pei Jingshu separated that day, Pei Ya told her not long after that she wanted to make a cover version for Pei Jingshu. Their long-distance relationship is not only talked about by Gu Huiyan, Pei Jingshu also has a strong sense of empathy when she sings this song. Gu Huiyan must be fine. If it weren't for the company's reasons, he might not even charge the copyright fee for his girlfriend. Pei Jingshu's version of Together No Matter How Far Away may be more delicate than Gu Huiyan's. Her ability to empathize in music is so strong that she doesn't need a crying voice, but she seems to be able to sing and cry. Professional singers will never do that disgusting thing of crying before making others cry. It is worth mentioning that maybe inspired by Gu Huiyan, she used more nasal resonance when singing this song, so the presentation of the work is quite amazing, and it caused a wave of craze after it was released. Certainly. Among Pei Jingshu's works in the second half of the year, the most popular one is really Not Together No Matter How Far Away. It was a new song written for her by Gu Huiyan, called Meet. It was also when she was in Zibo, on the morning before Pei Jingshu left, her assistant secretly told Gu Huiyan, asking if he had time recently and wanted him to write a song for Pei Jingshu or something. Gu Huiyan might be stingy when it comes to others, but when it comes to Pei Jingshu, then Gu Huiyan would definitely give him the best. The points required to redeem the song Meet in Gu Huiyan's system were similar to those of Sunny Day. At that time, the points in Gu Huiyan's system were not many, that is, less than 30,000. So he changed the song to No Matter How Far It Is. Together, plus the song Meet, there are only about 20,000 left. And later it turned out that the song Meet is indeed worthy of so many points. As soon as the song was released, it quickly swept the entire internet. In those days, the entire internet seemed to be singing this sentence. Hearing the departure of winter, I woke up in a certain month of a certain year. This song is the same as Gu Huiyan's Sunny Day. It has a perfect intro killer. The arrangement and lyrics are well recognized by the industry. The whole song is high-spirited. The light sadness and fantasy about the future are really romantic to countless extents. Some people say that Gu Huiyan is very good at writing sweet songs. He can interpret a song so romantically without even using the word sweet. Looking at the entire domestic entertainment industry, he is second to none. It would be inappropriate for Pei Jingshu, who is already in love, to interpret such a song with rich fantasy elements. This song seems to be tailor-made for her at this time. Of course, its achievements are also very impressive. Pei Jingshu is a well-known singer, so this song is paid. In 1 month, the single sales of this song set an impressive record of over 100 million. All major platforms have been maxed out. In those days, this song was all discussed in WeChat Moments, Douyin, and Weibo. It was as much discussed as Sunny Day when Gu Huiyan's new album was a big hit. That's the reason for the first album. Sunny Day Gu Huiyan only entered the VIP of each platform. If he had paid for it, he might have made a lot of money, and the sales volume would at least not be worse than Meet. The comment area is also very explosive. Many people are saying, "It sounds so good. Gu Laoliu really gave all his best quality works to Sister Pei. Last time it was Little Lucky, this time it's Meet, it's really amazing." What I'm saying is that the Chinese music scene is completely dominated by you and your wife. Look at the music platforms list. It's either Gu Laoliu's or Sister Pei's. Gu Laoliu is really something. If you look at the charts, almost all of them are songs written by him. There is a very funny phenomenon that almost all the popular works on the new songs and hot song lists of major music platforms are written by Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan's album has 13 songs, plus the song Together No Matter How Far Away. All of them are on the charts without exception, and Sunny Day has been at the top of the hot song charts on all platforms for nearly 27 weeks. Pei Jingshu's Little Luck and Meat are also at the top, and even Shang Zuoyan's Your Smile is also in the top 10. Almost all of these well-known works were created by Gu Huiyan alone. Some people say Gu Huiyan can be regarded as dominating the Chinese music scene. This is true. Some time ago, there were several well-known young artists who released songs, and their fans went crazy on the charts. Various top performers rushed to the top, but none of them could break into the top 5 of the charts. Not to mention shaking the top spot of Gu Huiyan's Sunny Day. The only thing that can be shaken is Pei Jingshu's Meeting. It was just a day or two after the release of Meet, and the two songs Sunny Day were fighting at the top of the list. You were the first for a while, and I was the first for a while. No one would let anyone go. It was always funny. This matter is still on the list. Hot searches are coming, and netizens are joking. Both of them were written by one person, and they are lovers. They are all members of the same family, so who comes first? Stop arguing, okay. Others said. As expected, the only one who can defeat Gu Huiyan is himself. At the beginning, the only one who could beat Pei Jingshu's Little Lucky was the title song of his new album Sunny Day. Now, the only one that can beat Sunny Day, which has dominated the hot song charts on various platforms for 27 weeks, is his newly written Meet for Pei Jingshu. It's also because of Meet that Pei Jingshu's fame, popularity, and celebrity status soared in the second half of the year. She also worked more and became busier and busier. The schedule is even scheduled to the second half of next year. One time, Pei Jingshu was talking to Gu Huiyan on the phone and she was still complaining, saying that if I didn't mention it myself, don't write songs for me in the future. My sister sometimes goes too far. Originally, she had agreed with her sister to slow down her work pace next year, but now, her new song has become a hit, and her work has not decreased, but has increased. Especially after attending the Spring Festival Gala, there were also some official invitations, which I couldn't refuse. Speaking of the Spring Festival Gala, in fact, most of the official Spring Festival Gala songs are songs with the main theme. Even if some popular songs are sung, the lyrics will be changed to the type that promotes peace and prosperity for the country and the people. When I saw the program list that Pei Jingshu was going to sing Together No Matter How Far Away, many people were worried that someone would change the lyrics of this song beyond recognition. Fortunately, nothing changed. Nothing has changed. Together No Matter How Far Away is the only work in this year's Spring Festival Gala that appears on the Spring Festival Gala stage in its entirety as a pop music love song. Many people said that Yang Ma did the right thing. Pei Jingshu went to the Spring Festival Gala and sang Together No Matter How Far Away, so of course many people would say, why didn't Gu Huiyan attend the Spring Festival Gala this year? This kid ran around a lot during the New Year's Eve. On the night of the New Year's Eve, he appeared on Orange Channel, Blue Channel, Beijing Channel, and many other TV stations. The song Reverse War sung on Orange Channel set the whole audience on fire. Many young freshmen sang like old rubbish that day, and not one of them was weak. They all sang in such a bird-like manner that the audience suspected that the speakers were broken. As soon as Gu Huiyan came on the stage, his aura was in full swing, and his solid singing skills and gangster-like tone immediately ignited the audience. Compared with those people in front of me, they are in the same sky and on the earth. The audience later joked that Gu Huiyan was here to repair the sound system. This matter later became a hot search topic, called #A Piece of Reverse War, Gu Huiyan is repairing the sound system during the new year. Hashtag. Precisely because of this, some people say that even though he visited so many TV stations during the new year, he was not present in the Spring Festival Gala. Is this appropriate? He is the hottest and most popular artist this year with both reputation, traffic, and quality. At this time, someone will come out to explain to them, saying that Gu Huiyan's time for being famous was too short. It was only half a year. Guests for the Spring Festival Gala were appointed and signed confidentiality agreements at the beginning of the year, and he could not catch up. Fans suddenly realized this and left. Next year, let's look forward to next year. Not surprisingly, Gu Huiyan will definitely be admitted next year. It is worth mentioning that although Gu Huiyan did not attend the Spring Festival Gala, he seemed to be everywhere in the Spring Festival Gala. Several of his songs were covered by some people, but the singing was not as good as his, and it seemed that he was playing reverse output. Same as advertising. In addition, Sister Pei directly opened up the song together. No matter how far away, the family members alone will go crazy. On the stage, she was wearing a light blue dress, playing the piano and singing to herself. Her appearance itself is very elegant and dignified as an Oriental woman. Her makeup for the Spring Festival Gala was also traditional, without any fancy decorations, just her hair was styled with a classical hairpin, and she had a beautiful face that would occasionally frown when she sang emotionally. She was so beautiful. Pei Jingshu really fascinated countless people that night. And when they thought that such a beauty had a wife, many people couldn't help but want to kill Gu Huiyan. That night, Gu Huiyan's Weibo was in trouble. Many people were saying, "Sister-in-law is crazy and you're a lucky boy." Another funny comment said, "Someone's sister-in-law is sweet, beautiful, white, has a temperament, and sings beautifully." There are also sisters-in-law who are quack quack quack. Gu Huiyan was very happy when he saw this comment. He happened to be watching the Spring Festival Gala that night. When Pei Jingshu appeared on the stage, he was stunned. "She is so beautiful." At that time, Gu's mother said, "How many galaxies did your kid save in his previous life to have such a blessing?" Gu Huiyan was dissatisfied and said, "Your son is not too bad." What left Gu Huiyan speechless was that Guzun actually said the same thing. Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes and said, "I shouldn't have come back for the New Year." That's right, Gu Huiyan was not busy with work on New Year's Eve, but went home a day early on the night of New Year's Eve. The end of the year is indeed the busiest time for artists. Some work hard to meet KPIs, while others can only earn some money by doing odd jobs at the end of the year. But Gu Huiyan is obviously not in that category. His KPI this year has exceeded by an unknown amount, and next year's work is almost scheduled to the second half of the year. Where does he need to pick up odd jobs? There is no need to go to the Spring Festival Gala this year. Except for a few unavoidable tasks, such as the annual meeting activities of brand endorsements, he has almost given up on the rest of the small jobs. Is it okay for someone who is celebrating the New Year not to come back to celebrate the New Year? He didn't go too far with his crotch burning. He stayed at home until the second day of junior high school, then left after lunch, and continued to work as he should. It was said that the New Year's Eve visits to various David TV stations a few days ago were too much for him. He really didn't want to go back to New Year's Eve anymore. But there is one thing to say, Gu Huiyan made a lot more during the New Year's Eve, and even the amount he earned was a bit exaggerated. Every one of those satellite TV stations paid him a very high appearance fee. When Gu Huiyan came back, he bragged to his mother and said that, "I had made half of your life's money in the past few days." Gu Ma was happy and said that no matter how powerful you are, even if you rule the galaxy, you still have to call me mom. Gu Huiyan retired in place. After the New Year's Eve dinner, the family watched the Spring Festival Gala. Gu Zun, holding his cell phone, went to grab red envelopes from his classmates. He kept shouting, and Gu Huiyan was so angry that he kicked him into the back room. It's the New Year, and Gu Huiyan has also received a lot of New Year greeting messages on his mobile phone. When he is a celebrity like him, he doesn't really need to send them to others. Others take the initiative to send them to him. Various work groups are also giving out red envelopes and so on. What made Gu Huiyan a little speechless was that in his own team group, which was a small group of his stylists, assistants, and others, Zhang Nuan went crazy at and Gu Huiyan said that he was asking the boss to give out red envelopes or something. Gu Huiyan raised his hand and said just one word, "Get out." All said and done, Gu Huiyan was really not stingy in this regard. He handed out red envelopes worth several thousand to tens of thousands to each person. They all work with him. Other artists usually give red envelopes to their staff during holidays. Gu Huiyan would be too stingy if he didn't send them, and everyone would have a psychological gap. He doesn't need this little money, so he gives out red envelopes during the Chinese New Year for good luck. After sending out the red envelopes, exchanging various greetings and replying to some messages, Gu Huiyan also started to edit New Year blessing messages and plan to send them in bulk. He may not need to curry favor with anyone, but since it's the New Year, sending a message is also a blessing. For example, some people who are relatively close to each other, such as Pei Jingshu, Sister Xylin, etc., must be posted. Speaking of Xylin, their team for Go Where the Wind is almost complete, and the launch date has been set for May next year. Shooting a movie is really not as easy as I thought. After deciding on the script, you need to choose a director. After choosing the director, you need to choose a shooting location, set up a crew, select actors, etc., etc. These are all troublesome. Generally, it takes at least half a year from finalizing the script to officially starting filming. It's no exaggeration. If there were no ready-made shooting locations like Hongdian, just the decoration and decoration after the location selection would take a month or two. It is worth mentioning that the location they chose for filming was actually the location where Gu Huiyan and the others previously recorded Crystal Love Season, which is the Yungzi village. Even the windy courtyard in the script was chosen to be in the Crystal Courtyard. Inside, Gu Huiyan was still looking forward to the idea of revisiting his old place. Xylin and Su Yuntang also went to the Spring Festival Gala this year. At this time, they should not have time to check their mobile phones at the live broadcast, so they almost didn't reply after Gu Huiyan sent it. The rest of my artist friends may also be busy, and many of them did not reply immediately. The ones who responded quickly were probably, "If you're not very popular, you don't have much work, right? Haha. The high school classmates are talking about the class reunion again." Crazy at the protagonist Gu Huiyan came back in the middle of the year. Many people couldn't make it to the party, so they wanted to meet Gu Huiyan during the new year. There are also a few people getting married who want to invite Gu Huiyan there. Speaking of getting married, when Gu Huiyan came back in the middle of the year, a high school classmate who had a good time invited him to be the best man. Gu Huiyan even had time, but unfortunately the brother had to be transferred out for a year due to work reasons, so maybe the wedding has to be postponed. Gu Huiyan sent him a message at that time, saying that long-distance relationships are not easy. Come on, the two of them felt as if they were the same people in the world. Ding dong ding dong. Many people in the high school group were chatting about Gu Huiyan. He was really a star now, and several female classmates even said they had a crush on him when they were in school. Gu Huiyan was just about to go over and say that he might not have time to attend the party, but suddenly, ding dong. A message alert sounded, and a note name jumped into Gu Huiyan's eyes. Shang Zhuoyan. She replied to Gu Huiyan. Happy New Year. Just 4 words and nothing else. Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, then clicked to look at it, only to realize that he had also sent it to her when he sent a group of New Year blessings. Gu Huiyan had too many friends, and it was definitely impossible for Gu Huiyan to single out Shang Zhuoyan and not send them. He had forgotten about it. He didn't expect that Shang Zhuoyan would reply to him at this time. Gu Huiyan thought she would be very busy during the New Year. Gu Huiyan wanted to send a message to greet her before when she saw her sudden weight loss and was on the trending search. He was too embarrassed to open his mouth. After that time, he felt that he and Shang Zhuoyan became more awkward than after that fried cow dung incident. He didn't know why. Open your mouth. Unexpectedly, today, by accident, the conversation started. After thinking about it, Gu Huiyan sent a message and asked. Not working. After a moment, Shang Zuoyan replied. No, I'm going home for the new year. The messages she sent were quite bland, and there was no emotion in the text, but in fact, this was not her usual style of chatting with people. In the past, she often liked to send some emoticons when chatting with Gu Huiyan. She is an 8G surfer girl, and her emoticons are as deep as the sea. She often uses emoticons that prank her or people around her on the internet. I also like to make voice calls and stuff. But now it feels different from before. In the living room, the Spring Festival Gala is playing on TV. Many of the celebrities and artists in the picture are known to Gu Huiyan in real life. They are bright and full of smiles. It is difficult for everyone who attends the Spring Festival Gala to be unhappy. Home. Gu Ma was sitting on the sofa, eating melon seeds, drinking tea, and watching TV under the quilt. That boy Guzan was bragging to someone in the room, shouting something like, "My brother is Gu Huiyan, do you know, what did the naughty boy opposite say, my brother dares to eat she, does your brother dare?" Gu Huiyan also sat next to the radiator to keep warm. The house is quiet and warm. At night, Gu Huiyan gnawed on the boss's pig's trotters. Look out the window and see many people setting off firecrackers. Crack. The control in his hometown is not strict. There must be a lot of people setting off firecrackers and fireworks on New Year's Eve. His family lives on a high floor, so he can just see it. It's so beautiful. On the mobile phone, whether it is messages in groups or private chats, it seems that everyone is enjoying the happiness and happy atmosphere of the new year. It's the Chinese New Year and everyone seems to be quite happy. But only Shang Zuoyan gave Gu Huiyan a feeling that it was difficult to be happy. And she didn't seem to dare to chat with Gu Huiyan anymore. When Gu Huiyan asked, she replied that for nearly 10 minutes, she didn't send any more messages, as if she planned to leave it at that. Then, I thought about it for a long time. Gu Huiyan then sent a message to Shang Zuoyan, asking, "How are you?" He was afraid that among the thousands of lights, there would be no light left for her. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 224. After the news about Gu Huiyan was sent, it fell into obscurity. Vmail does not have a read function. It was reported online some time ago that it was about to be released, but netizens scolded it back. Who would use this crappy software if they don't leave any privacy at all? Gu Huiyan didn't know if Shang Zuoyan saw it. It was not too early at this time, it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. Gu Huiyan wondered if she had fallen asleep. Pour some water. Gu Ma asked Gu Huiyan to make some water for her tea. The tea was given by others. Although he is a rookie in the industry, Gu Huiyan has received a lot of gifts this year. Many of them are from artists in the same company. Some of them are singers. Think about it. Once you have a good relationship with Gu Huiyan, if you get a chance to make a song or something, it will become popular in no time. Oh. Gu Huiyan put down his cell phone and poured a cup of tea for his biological mother. Their ancestral tradition was to use cups to make tea, which was not particular at all. Tea is being brewed here. Ding dong. Over there, a message notification sound came. After Gu Huiyan poured tea for his mother, he walked over, picked it up and looked at it, and Shang Zuoyan replied. Her reply was pale and weak, with only 2 simple words. She said, "Not good." Gu Huiyan thought there was more to come, but in the past few minutes, she didn't send any more messages. It's just, not good. When he saw these 2 words, Gu Huiyan trembled. At that moment, he felt quite guilty. Maybe Shang Zuoyan's recent state was not entirely because of him, but he had made a start, and there was no Shang Zuoyan like him. Yan may not have reached this stage. He always felt that he had a big responsibility in it. And just at this time, ding dong, Shang Zuoyan sent him another message. That's a positioning. When he saw the location, Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, and immediately clicked on it to check it out. Unexpectedly, he discovered that the location Shang Zuoyan sent him was a hotel in their urban area. Gu Huiyan replied with a series of questions, and after a while, Shang Zuoyan replied, "I'm right here." His eyes suddenly widened. Gu Huiyan was a little surprised and couldn't help but send a message asking, "Didn't you say you were celebrating the New Year at home?" Shang Zuoyan replied with a series of ellipses, as if she didn't want to explain. Maybe she felt that the text was a bit too pale. Now it was Gu Huiyan's turn to be in trouble. To be honest, he really didn't expect Shang Zuoyan to be in the city where his home is. Today is New Year's Eve, and she is here. Although she didn't say anything, Gu Huiyan felt as if she was here for him, which made Gu Huiyan feel inexplicably stressed. "Are you alone? Or do you come to work?" Gu Huiyan sent another message asking. If he has someone to accompany him at work, then he shouldn't be too sentimental, but if he is alone. "Myself." Shang Zuoyan replied like this. "Really?" Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, feeling a little headache. To be honest, he didn't want and shouldn't have any more trouble with Shang Zuoyan, but she had been having such a hard time recently and was in such bad shape. On the night of New Year's Eve, she was still in the city where Gu Huiyan was staying. The lights outside were everywhere and every household was warm and happy. How could he bear to discuss Zuoyan alone in the hotel? "Room to stay? I'll go find you." In the end, Gu Huiyan couldn't hold it back. He was not indecisive. Even if it was from the perspective of friends, even if an ordinary friend was alone in a hotel near his home during the New Year, he would care about it. A person should act with a clear conscience. That was how Gu Huiyan rejected Shang Zuoyan that night, and the same is true when he went to see Shang Zuoyan tonight. For both emotional and rational reasons, he should go. "Don't come." Shang Zuoyan replied. "I don't want to cause you any more trouble because of me. Today is not the first day she came to the city. She has been here for many days. She arrived less than half a month after New Year's Day. She also knew that Gu Huiyan was at home. On the 29th of the year, he went home to celebrate the New Year and was on the hot search. But she didn't want to disturb Gu Huiyan anymore. She knew that she would cause trouble to Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan was living a good life now, and he and Pei Jingshu were also very good. If there were any scandals with her, she would really feel sorry for him. She came here just to say goodbye to her relationship. So she didn't send him a message, nor did she look for Gu Huiyan. The reason for chatting today was purely because of a blessing message from Gu Huiyan. "But you said she really didn't want Gu Huiyan to find her? How could that be possible?" She wanted to see Gu Huiyan more than anyone else. Especially in this lonely time. Tonight is New Year's Eve, there is no one in the hotel, the food shops outside are closed, and she can't even order what she wants to eat, and she is still hungry. The winter in Quancheng is very cold. This poor place is extremely hot, with temperatures reaching 40 degrees Celsius in summer, and temperatures as cold as -10 degrees Celsius in winter. She was not in a good condition, and was too afraid of catching a cold, so she did not want to go out to buy anything to eat. When Gu Huiyan came, he would definitely bring her some food, but she still refused. God knows how heartbroken she felt when she rejected Gu Huiyan's coming. She would rather feel uncomfortable than cause trouble to Gu Huiyan anymore. "I once felt that my tears had dried up in the past 6 months, but after sending the message, Zhou Yan felt that the tip of her nose was sore and uncomfortable." "You really don't want me to go?" Gu Huiyan asked via message. This time Shang Zuoyan did not reply. She really didn't know how she could reject Gu Huiyan twice. She would never know. I want to eat meat. After a long time, she finally softened her heart and sent a message saying, I haven't eaten anything today. I can't buy anything to eat outside. Of course, many shops are closed on New Year's Eve. Even if they are open, they are on duty and there are no real shops. Who doesn't go home to celebrate the New Year? Wait, then. Gu Huiyan sighed. Fortunately, their family stewed a lot of meat for the Chinese New Year. There were still packed dumplings, pig's trotters, sausages, fried goods, etc. in the refrigerator. He ordered some dumplings, packed a pig's trotters, a few sausages, some fried lotus root, fried hairtail, etc., put on a thick down jacket, wrapped a mask and went out. Why are you going at this point? When Gu Ma saw him going to the kitchen at first, she thought the boy was hungry and wanted to eat. Who knew that he was going out after cleaning up? Find a friend and go to bed early. I don't know what time I will be back. Gu Huiyan said casually and went out. Some of their classmates would occasionally get together to play cards and chat in the evenings when they were young. It was normal, but Gu's mother didn't expect that he would go out on New Year's Eve. But she was quite relieved about Gu Huiyan. This guy had a sense of propriety, so let him go. After going downstairs, Gu Huiyan went straight to the underground garage and drove out. In the second half of the year, Gu Huiyan bought a car, a BMW SUV worth more than 400,000 yuan. It was not expensive for him. It was used for transportation in small cities and for home use. He didn't drive it much, and it was usually used by Gu's mother. When he was going out, Gu Huiyan didn't notice that he was walking in front of his car, but a car behind him followed him. On New Year's Eve, there are not many people even on the national highway. Chinese people are very aware of the New Year. On this day, they will choose to go home to celebrate the New Year. It is New Year's Eve in the evening. How many people go out at this time? Gu Huiyan wanted to take the elevated highway easily. To be honest, Gu Huiyan had driven to the city before, but this was the first time he walked on the elevated highway and couldn't see a single car. He released the accelerator and drove wildly. The navigation showed that it was more than 2 hours away, but he was surprised to arrive in less than an hour and a half. If you don't drive in the middle of the night, you will never feel that the city is so smooth. Occasionally, Gu Huiyan would find a car following him, but after getting off the elevated road, the car turned a corner, so he didn't pay much attention. Ding dong dong. While on the way, Gu Huiyan received a call. It was from Pei Jingshu. It seemed that she had just finished the performance and saw the blessing message from Gu Huiyan backstage, so she thought of making a phone call to wish her a happy birthday. However, Gu Huiyan was driving. When he answered the phone, he only said that he was going to meet a friend to play cards or something, and then hung up after chatting for a few words. Pei Jingshu definitely didn't think much about it. She had always believed in Gu Huiyan, and it wasn't like Gu Huiyan didn't tell her. It was mainly because she had said it. Afraid of her misunderstanding. Ding dong. On the way, Shang Zuoyan also sent a message to Gu Huiyan, saying, "Why don't you come? It doesn't matter to me, really." Gu Huiyan was helpless. We were halfway there and all the food was packed. How could we return the same way? He didn't reply. He only asked Shang Zuoyan's room number after arriving at the place and getting off the car. After getting the room number, Gu Huiyan went upstairs to the room where she was, raising his hand to knock on the door. Before that, his hand suddenly paused. To be honest, Gu Huiyan doesn't know what will happen if he goes in now. Maybe he and Shang Zuoyan will break up on bad terms like last time. He doesn't really want to cause her any more harm. He actually doesn't know what will happen now. You can choose to put down the dinner you brought and send her a message to tell her to leave, which is considered caring. But Gu Huiyan couldn't bear it when he recalled the extremely thin Shang Xuan he saw on the internet and how humble she was when chatting with him today. She is such a proud, confident, and cheerful girl. She should never have become like this, and she should never have spent the Chinese New Year alone in a strange city. Thinking of this, Gu Huiyan no longer hesitated. Dong dong dong. Raise your hand to knock on the door. Click. There was a sound of slippers running quickly in the room, and after a while, the door opened. To be honest, the moment he saw Shang Xuan, Gu Huiyan almost burst into tears at the tip of his nose. In my impression, Shang Xuan is a girl who is a little fat and fleshy. She always looks hot when she wears clothes. She likes to dye her hair into various colors and tie her hair in various pigtails, like a doll. Her pretty face is always filled with a heartless smile, and the tear mole at the corner of her eye looks very attractive. But now, she lost a lot of weight. Perhaps the two brothers Xiong Daxian are still holding on to their position. The buttocks that Gu Huiyan photographed have not gone away. Female celebrities are always good at losing weight. They lose weight in the places where they should lose weight and keep the fat in certain places without losing it. But she has really lost a lot of weight elsewhere. It seems that the ribs can be seen in the belly, and the legs are even more exaggerated. The beautiful legs that were originally a little fleshy are now like two chopstick legs. Of course, the most obvious thing is the face. She used to have a bit of baby fat, but now her jawline has slimmed down, making her look a bit thin and out of shape. Because she didn't wear makeup, you can see some obvious dark circles around her eyes. The thick hair is no longer of various colors, but all dyed back to black. The ever-changing girl from before seemed completely different from the standard female star in front of her. To be honest, Gu Huiyan didn't dare to recognize him when he first met. I felt quite distressed when I saw it on a hot search before. Usually the camera will make people fat, and those who are thin in front of the camera will be even thinner in reality. The Shang Xuan who appeared in front of Gu Huiyan now was even thinner than what he saw on the hot search. When she was a little fleshy, her big watery eyes would be very strange. Now that she has lost weight, her eyes will look very pitiful and dry. Why are you staring at me like that? After opening the door, looking at Gu Huiyan, who was wrapped in a thick down jacket and wearing a mask, staring at him, Shang Xuan was still a little embarrassed and lowered her head silently. She stared down at her toes, pursed her lips slightly, and said, "Do I look pathetic?" If she hadn't seen the hot search, she wouldn't have known how she would have ended up like this. No. Who said you were pitiful? Gu Huiyan calmed down his emotions for a moment, then shook the dinner in his hand and said, "Won't you invite me in?" Shang Xuan smiled reluctantly and asked, "Are you sure you want to come in? I'm not forcing you this time." When she said this, she would raise her head and stare directly at Gu Huiyan. She had said everything she wanted to say that night. She would not do something that had failed again, and there was no hope. She doesn't have to fight anymore. Then I can't just throw my things away and leave, right? Gu Huiyan was helpless and said, "You think of me as a delivery boy. Your delivery boy goes out to deliver food on New Year's Eve, and he has to deliver it dozens of kilometers away?" Shang Xuan smiled. She rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan and stopped being pretentious. She stepped aside and invited Gu Huiyan to come in. The room was a suite, with all facilities inside. Maybe it was because she didn't have an assistant. Shang Xuan's clothes were a little messy, but there was no trash in sight. She still liked to be clean after all. Picking up a few scattered clothes, she said, "Sit wherever you like." Gu Huiyan took off his down jacket, put the food he brought on the table, and asked casually, "Why are you here? Didn't you say you were going home to celebrate the New Year?" If it hadn't been for the conversation tonight, he would have thought that Shang Xuan was still busy at work. "Do not want to go home." After a moment of silence, Shang Xuan smiled bitterly and said bitterly, I feel like I'm not in a very good condition, and I'm worried that my family will be worried. She was on the trending search topic because of her extreme weight loss some time ago, so her family called her to ask her what was going on. She was afraid that her family would be worried. Shang Zuoyan said that the company asked her to lose weight, and that losing weight was not a big deal. It was easy to reassure her. Got off my family. It's easy to say it on the phone, it's lighthearted, but that's because you can't see it. Once you see her, you will know that she is not just losing weight, but her overall condition is also very poor. So she didn't dare go home during the Chinese New Year, so she told her family that she was busy with work. Anyway, she was often busy during the Chinese New Year in previous years, so it was common for her not to go back. Gu Huiyan was silent for a while, then helped her open the lunch box of dumplings, placed it in front of her and said, "Then why didn't you go to work?" "I don't want to go." Shang Zuoyan shook her head. She was sitting there, wearing a simple pink tight-fitting long-sleeved shirt and white pants. There was a heater in the room and it was very warm. She would not be cold even if she was dressed like this. She says, "The company saw that I was in poor condition and asked me to rest for a while. After finishing the concert, I was out of work for a few days. In recent times, she has almost no work except for some necessary endorsements, advertisements, and activities. Refrigeration is not enough. The company just asked her to take advantage of the new year to adjust her condition. There will be no less work after the new year." Saying. She picked up a dumpling with the chopsticks handed over by Gu Huiyan. It was stuffed with leek, pork, and vermicelli. It had a very familiar taste. Gu Huiyan had made it before and she had eaten it before. "Did Auntie pack it?" she asked. Gu Huiyan nodded. He sat opposite Shang Zuoyan, wearing a black thickened sweatshirt and a pair of loose trousers, looking very casual. "It looks much better than your bag." Shang Zuoyan complained at first, then lowered her head and ate several of them, but she seemed to swallow slowly and her cheeks were always bulging. "Delicious," she said a little unclearly. In fact, if she had eaten such delicious dumplings in the past, she would dance happily and shake her head, but now she just eats silently and reluctantly. "So you haven't answered me yet, why are you here?" Gu Huiyan held back his heartache and wanted to ask this question first. Shang Zuoyan, who was still eating dumplings, suddenly stopped chewing. Her cheeks were bulging like a squirrel. She lowered her head and did not look at Gu Huiyan. She just picked up a glass of water and drank it gently, trying her best to swallow the food in her mouth first. A few moments. When she finally stopped being choked and panicked, she calmed down her emotions and said jokingly, "It's just, I have no place to go, so I just happened to come here." Gu Huiyan didn't speak, just stared at Shang Zuoyan, as if to say, "Can you tell the truth?" What? Being stared at by him like this, Shang Zuoyan felt a little guilty, and her eyes slowly became moist for some reason. She didn't want this. "Try to restrain yourself." After a while, she whispered, "Pei Jingshu and Sister Xylin have both been here. I just want to come and see this city where you are, and I have no intention of pestering you." After saying that, maybe because she was afraid that Gu Huiyan wouldn't believe it, she glanced at Gu Huiyan and actually added, "Really, really not." When she said this, she could no longer hold back, and her voice was already crying at the end of her words. After she finished speaking, tears flowed down uncontrollably from her big eyes. She didn't know why she was so humble. She has seen a lot of hot searches about Gu Huiyan in the past 6 months, and the chatter is always excessive. It also knows that she likes Gu Huiyan, so it always pushes a lot of Gu Huiyan related news to her. From July when Pei Jingshu followed Gu Huiyan home, to October when Su Yuntang and Sister Xylin came here to record a show with him. She knows it all. Gu Huiyan even single-handedly promoted tourism in the city. It's the end of the year. She has been given a holiday by her company and has no job. She is afraid that her family will be worried and dare not go home. Others are celebrating the new year and it is not easy for her to go find friends. She can stay in the apartment in Shanghai, so she might as well come here. I want to see the city where Gu Huiyan grew up. She swore that she really just wanted to take a look. She didn't even think of sending a message to Gu Huiyan. Even when Gu Huiyan sent a group message for New Year blessings, she just replied with Happy New Year. It was because they started chatting, and because Gu Huiyan asked her if she was okay, that she finally couldn't hold back and told Gu Huiyan. She admitted that she might have thought about asking Gu Huiyan to come when she sent out the position, but she regretted it after sending the position. It was not because she was afraid that Gu Huiyan would reject her again, but because she no longer had any relationship with Gu Huiyan after the last time. Confident, she is no longer so enthusiastic, she is just afraid of him. Afraid that he would underestimate himself. How could she be a woman without dignity? Can you leave? She raised her two skinny hands to cover her eyes, crying and wiping her tears, and said, "Go away, don't come, hurry, go." What she wants is for the man in front of her to sincerely say that he likes her. It doesn't matter if he doesn't say it. At worst, they'll break up, but at least he won't pity her. He really doesn't. She agreed that Zhuoyan should be strong throughout her life and never need pity from others. If you like Shang Zhuoyan, go give her some likes. She deserves it. In addition, I would like to say that those who left before have suffered a great loss because they will never see the wonderful things about Shang Zhuoyan. I will not change this chapter no matter how unacceptable it is to anyone, because this is what Shang Zhuoyan should be. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 225. Chapter 224 The Fairy Wand and the Unfulfilled Wish. She is really reluctant. Whoa. Sometimes, once the tears start flowing, they can no longer be controlled. Shang Zhuoyan cried quietly at first, and then slowly began to choke. Just now she could wipe away her tears with her hands, but now it seems that she can't wipe them away or stop them. It's just a grievance. The more I cry, the more I feel aggrieved. Maybe because she knew Gu Huiyan was opposite, or maybe she felt embarrassed. Sitting on the small chair, she simply curled up her legs, put her arms around her knees, and buried her head in her knees, as if she was shrinking into a shell. She probably felt that this would give her a sense of security. She had always struggled to do this movement before, but recently she lost weight and it became very easy for her without even realizing it. The room was strangely quiet. On New Year's Eve, not many people came out to stay in the hotel. It was a miracle that this hotel was open. There might not even be a few clerks on duty. It is precisely because of this that Gu Huiyan could hear Shang Zhuoyan's weeping voice clearly. And looking at her appearance, Gu Huiyan's heart also felt like it was being cut by a knife. Don't talk about him, just pick anyone else, but any person wouldn't be able to bear seeing Shang Zhuoyan like this, right? Whose heart is not made of flesh. She is usually such a girl who loves to laugh, but for some reason, this time she met Gu Huiyan and she felt like it was hard to be happy. If she felt even slightly uncomfortable, tears would flow out uncontrollably. Gu Huiyan even wondered if she had lost so much weight because she cried too much and lost all her water content. Okay, this joke was a bit inappropriate. Well. Gu Huiyan sighed, stood up, walked over, came to Shang Zhuoyan, raised his hand and patted her shoulder lightly a few times. Count it as consolation. You, just go. Shang Zhuoyan did not raise her head, but when Gu Huiyan patted her, her delicate body trembled a few times, and she choked and said, "Why did you come? You shouldn't have come. You just left me alone, that's fine. I don't need you to pity me. Why Why do you still want to be nice to me? I obviously plan to forget you. Ugh. I don't know if it's been too long since they last met. Shang Xuan was a little reserved at the beginning of the meeting, and she was also a little polite when talking to Gu Huiyan. She always seemed like she couldn't let go. But at this moment, she seemed to have completely let down her psychological defenses, and it seemed that these words were what she really wanted to say. Gu Huiyan didn't say anything. Do you think he wants to come? She had already made it clear that she was alone on New Year's Eve in the city where Gu Huiyan was. How could you ask Gu Huiyan not to come? Whoa! Shang Xuan sobbed softly, wondering if she really needed someone to rely on. After a while, she stretched out her two beautiful hands and wrapped them around Gu Huiyan's waist, rested her head on his abdomen, and hugged him tightly. She actually wanted to stand up and hug her, but she didn't have the courage. She probably felt that if she did that, Huiyan would push her away without hesitation. But in this case, he should be able to accept it. Really? Gu Huiyan did not push her away. He just reached out and stroked her head gently. Okay. Gu Huiyan just spoke softly. To be honest, Gu Huiyan didn't know how to comfort Shang Xuan. He felt that anything he said now would make things worse for her. He couldn't imagine how a foodie like her could not be interested in eating. Before she came, she said she wanted to eat meat, and Gu Huiyan packed her a few pig's trotters and the kind of sausage he made during the Chinese New Year. They were hard goods and always delicious. When doing it, all Gu Huiyan could think about was how happy she was when she saw this, and even thought about how her saliva was drooling. The impression of Shang Xuan should be like this. But after meeting, even after seeing those things, she didn't even show interest. Gu Huiyan thought that she would immediately pick up the big pig's trotters and take a bite, but she just waited patiently for Gu Huiyan to open the box of dumplings and ate a few. Until now, she said she wanted to eat meat, but she still hasn't taken a bite. Even the dumplings are hard to swallow. To be honest, Gu Huiyan never thought that she could lose interest in eating. Looking at the way she was crying now, to be honest, Gu Huiyan was no longer distressed. He really felt as if his heart was being cut with a knife. The past 6 months have been really difficult for her. Gu Huiyan didn't know how long she hugged him and cried. Anyway, he could clearly feel that his shirt and stomach were already wet, soaking through his inner seed. You know it's cold outside, right? Gu Huiyan had no choice but to joke. If you cry anymore, I'll catch a cold. Shang Xuan was also very funny. After hearing this, she silently shrank back, hugged her knees and continued to cry. Gu Huiyan looked at her helplessly for a few times, and then turned around and left. Yes, he was leaving. He went to the door, put on his down jacket and opened the door. Shang Xuan was feeling sad at the time and didn't know what was going on. At first she thought Gu Huiyan was going to the bathroom to clean up her clothes that were wet from crying. It wasn't until she heard the sound of the door closing that she realized that Gu Huiyan gone. Shang Xuan froze on the spot, her big watery eyes staring in the direction of the door, with a look of disbelief on her face. She never expected that when she was so sad, Gu Huiyan would leave. Isn't this too cruel? To be honest, she had no intention of committing suicide, nor did she ask Gu Huiyan to do anything for her, nor did she need his comfort, but he couldn't just leave so cruelly, could he? Silent. Why don't you say hello? At this time, Shang Xuan was even thinking whether he disliked himself like this. The more she thought about it, the more aggrieved she became. The mouth was deflated into a very strange shape. Then the tears fell down like they were free of money. Ah! She cried so hard that she always broke down. No one knew how desperate she was at this moment. For a moment, she even wanted to die with Gu Huiyan. This scumbag was too cruel to her. It took a long time, maybe 10 minutes. Just when she really planned to die with Gu Huiyan. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the room door suddenly. Shang Zuoyan was stunned for a moment. She didn't even have time to wipe her tears or put on her shoes, so she ran over to open the door with her bare feet in embarrassment. When he opened the door, he saw that old man Gu Huiyan was back. Not only was he back, he was also carrying a bag of what looked like fireworks in his hand. One of the boxes looks like that fairy wand. Just holding fireworks. Hiss, let me in quickly, I'm freezing to death. Gu Huiyan rubbed his hands. It was cold outside. The roadside was frozen in the middle of the night. To be honest, he really didn't want to go out on such a day, especially in the middle of the night. What are you doing? Shang Zuoyan pouted her little mouth and looked at Gu Huiyan with an aggrieved look. She was almost planning to die with Gu Huiyan just now. Take this. Gu Huiyan shook the fairy stick in his hand and said. Quickly, change your clothes and take you to set off fireworks. Early this morning, Gu Huiyan was called out by Guzun and dragged to buy fireworks. These boxes were forgotten in the car and Gu Huiyan saw them when they came. Seeing that Shang Zuoyan was in such a bad mood, he planned to take her down to set off fireworks, which would at least relieve her a little. Large-scale fireworks are definitely not allowed in urban areas. Police cars will arrive within 10 minutes of making any noise, and New Year's Eve is no exception. But it's just a small handheld firework or something, and it doesn't make much sound. It doesn't matter, and no one will pursue it. Of course, just in case, Gu Huiyan asked the staff on duty at the hotel front desk, and he would only take Shang Zuoyan there if there was no problem. Ah, Shang Zuoyan was slightly stunned. So just now, he went to the car to get fireworks, didn't he leave? Quickly. Gu Huiyan urged. Oh. Shang Zuoyan pouted and ran to the room to change clothes. To be honest, she didn't even realize why she suddenly had to go into the room to change clothes until she was putting on pants. But as soon as she reacted a little, she realized how funny her idea just now was. She knew that Gu Huiyan could not leave for no reason. It's even more impossible to just leave her alone. He must be out for something. So how could she think that Gu Huiyan disliked her and left? Thinking of this, Shang Zuoyan even wanted to open her tofu brain to see what was inside. I feel like my brain has become dull in the past 6 months. If it was true, wouldn't he tell her? When she came out of the room, Shang Zuoyan wore a pair of light blue denim trousers with the trousers slightly rolled up. White short boots would match this color very well. She always likes pink, so she chooses a pink patterned sweater and a pink down jacket for her upper body. The clothes seemed to add a lively atmosphere to her, and she was finally no longer so lifeless. It is worth mentioning that, maybe because of losing weight, she feels that her figure is better, and wearing clothes one size smaller also makes her look more elegant. Let's go. Gu Huiyan opened the door first and went out, looking around to make sure no one was taking the lead. Act like a thief. When you enter the elevator, you don't go down, but up. Why go up? Shang Zuoyan was still curious. Go to the rooftop, Gu Huiyan replied. In fact, when setting off fireworks, logically you have to go downstairs. It's not that they look good or safe downstairs, but it's because the roof of the building is so damp, in the middle of winter. Chilly. As for why Gu Huiyan took Shang Zuoyan to the rooftop, it was because when he went downstairs to get the fireworks, he saw a very familiar car in the parking lot. That car looked particularly like the one he had seen on the highway. Maybe it's because he's been followed a lot by paparazzi in the past 6 months. Gu Huiyan has gradually developed the habit of recognizing paparazzi. Although he doesn't think there will be paparazzi taking secret photos of him on New Year's Eve, it's still a precautionary measure. If you don't put it downstairs, it will easily cause problems if it is photographed. They can't take pictures on the roof at night. He didn't tell Shang Zuoyan because he was afraid that she would worry. Fortunately, we can also go up to the rooftop, otherwise we wouldn't be able to set off the fireworks. Rooftop. Whoa. The cold wind was blowing desperately, and it was blowing on people's skin, just like several knives cutting people's flesh. Shang Xuan couldn't help but tighten her down jacket. She was so afraid of catching a cold. Winter is so unfriendly to female stars. Gu Huiyan also shrunk his clothes. The bad weather in MD's spring city was really exaggerated. In the summer, it was 40 degrees hot lying around at home and sweating all over. In the winter, it was as cold as -10 degrees. It was late at night, the time when the temperature was the lowest of the day, and this was the top floor. Gu Huiyan was shivering a little from the cold. He couldn't help but say to Shang Xuan, "To be honest, if it weren't for our fateful friendship, not many people would accompany you to set off fireworks at this time." Pook. Shang Xuan laughed. She rarely laughed in the past 6 months, and no one made her laugh. Gu Huiyan could only make her laugh with his true and mean words. Gu Huiyan took out his lighter. Puff. A few fairy wands were lit. Then with the help of the fire of these few sticks, several others were ignited. "Pass it to Shang Xuan. It's been how many years since I played this?" The firelight kept sputtering, and Shang Xuan stared at the burning fairy stick, feeling nostalgic for a moment. The bright firelight occasionally shines on Shang Xuan's delicate doll's face. It no longer seems to be full of sadness and sorrow like in the room. Maybe it's because her eyes were red from crying just now, but there was a little bit of it before. Smile, of course. It wasn't the kind of happiness that Gu Huiyan had in mind. In fact, according to Huiyan's impression of Shang Xuan, she should be dancing and happy while playing this, but now she is just shaking the fairy wand and watching with a slight smile. It's just awkward and heart-wrenching. But after all, she was in a better mood. Gu Huiyan took her to set off several more. When they were set off, she felt that she was obviously happier. Fireworks are quite wonderful and magical. They may be fresh and beautiful, and they always make people happy. When the fireworks were set off, Shang Xuan would occasionally look in Gu Huiyan's direction. Under the firelight, Gu Huiyan's face looked quite carefree and happy. This would make her couldn't help but think that even if she was not in a good state now, she should be happier than him if she did such a thing, but why couldn't she be happy? For a moment, she seemed to realize something. Because she knew very well that such beauty did not seem to belong to her. He just felt sorry for himself. "Make a wish," Gu Huiyan said suddenly at this time. Shang Xuan was stunned for a moment and couldn't help but say, "What kind of wish is this? Who made a wish on the fireworks?" "Inexplicably, you thought it was the little match girl?" "Whatever, just make a wish." Gu Huiyan chuckled. He actually wanted to say something to comfort Shang Xuan, mainly because he really didn't have much education and couldn't speak those beautiful words, and he was afraid that what he said would be pretentious and greasy. In the end, the tie pants would be too embarrassing. Just say make a wish. Make her happy. Shang Xuan smiled. Why was Gu Huiyan always so baffled? The fairy wand in her hand was still burning with sparks. Shang Xuan stared at the fire and suddenly thought about what she would make if she made a wish. For a moment, she glanced at Gu Huiyan, shook her head gently, and finally said nothing or made a wish. "Why don't you make a wish?" Gu Huiyan asked. Shang Xuan said. "Because I know my wish cannot come true." Her big, watery, and beautiful eyes were staring straight at Gu Huiyan, and the firelight seemed to cast many shadows on her delicate and pretty face. Gu Huiyan was silent for a moment, and suddenly didn't know what to say. He knew very well what Shang Xuan meant. But after a while, he actually said, "There is a difference between dreams and wishful thinking. If you are wishful thinking, then you must roll." Shang Xuan's head was full of black lines. She really couldn't stand it when she was serious and he suddenly acted strangely. She was so angry that she kicked him several times and chased him, slapping and beating him. Gu Huiyan laughed and hit her with the fairy stick. In a daze, it seemed as if they had found the same feeling they had in Yunnan again. They had almost finished setting off the fireworks they had brought, and they went down because it was too cold. Back in the room, Shang Xueyan's hands were extremely cold. She actually wanted Gu Huiyan to cover her hands, but she was too embarrassed to open her mouth, so she had to put it next to her mouth and keep breathing. Gu Huiyan poured a cup of hot water for her, let her hold it to warm her hands, then pointed to the dinner he brought and asked, "Would you like some more? Didn't you say you haven't eaten all day?" As he spoke, he pointed to the sausage and pig's trotters and said, "This is delicious. Try it first. If it doesn't taste good, hit me. I won't eat it. I don't really want to eat it. Let's eat it tomorrow morning." Shang Xueyan smiled softly and shook her head. She just stared at Gu Huiyan, her big doll-like eyes staring at Gu Huiyan a little bit. He was about to ask her if he could stop staring at her like that, but suddenly, for some reason, mist began to appear in her big eyes, and then big tears began to roll down her cheeks. "Why are you crying again?" Gu Huiyan was speechless. Why the hell can't he be coaxed? Shang Xueyan pouted her lips and smiled. She felt that she was being pretentious and raised her hand to wipe her tears. Although she knew that she should not ask for anything more, she still said, "I was just thinking, how nice it would be if you could stay with me like this." Gu Huiyan started to act stupid again and said, "We are good friends. I will be here if you need me." As he said that, he picked up a piece of sausage, broke off a piece and stuffed it into his mouth. Then he handed a piece to Shang Xueyan and let her taste it, trying to arouse her appetite by saying that he ate it deliciously. But Shang Xueyan still shook her head. I don't know if she was tired from crying, but Shang Xueyan yawned and said, "Let's go and go back. It's very late." She really didn't expect that one day she would take the initiative to let Gu Huiyan go. Gu Huiyan nodded and said that to be honest, he was a little uneasy, but he had no reason to stay. Everything that needs to be done is done. "Okay, I'm fine, don't worry, why am I so easily defeated?" Seeing that Gu Huiyan just nodded but did not leave, Shang Xueyan pursed her lips and said with a proud face, "It's a lot more stressful when you're abroad." When she said this, Gu Huiyan felt relieved, nodded with a smile, helped her pack up the dinner she had brought that night, put on her down jacket at the door, and then planned to leave. Before leaving, he said that he would come to see Shang Xueyan tomorrow morning and bring her some home-steamed yellow noodle dough. It was deep-fried and sprinkled with sugar, so it was delicious. Good. Shang Xueyan sent Gu Huiyan away with a smile and sent him into the elevator. Originally she was smiling, but the moment the elevator door closed, she seemed to have lost all her strength, and the smile on her face was no longer there. It disappeared in an instant, as if it had never appeared. Pretend to be happy, pretend to be okay, pretend to be strong. Very tired? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 226. Shang Xueyan silently returned to the room, closed the door, and sat back on the sofa. Tonight was quite nice, it felt like all the Gu Huiyan she longed for was given to her. But the more she has everything, the more uncomfortable it will be for her. Because she knew very well that those things did not belong to her. Everything tonight was like a dream to her. Although she woke up for a long time, she was still very moved. But a dream is a dream after all, and she will wake up sooner or later. It is not true. Her eyes glanced at the delicious food Gu Huiyan brought tonight. After hesitating, She opened the bag and took out a pig's trotter. It's old and fragrant. Gu Huiyan's mother must be very good at cooking. The stewed pig's trotters are very good and fragrant. If it were in the past, Shang Xuan would eat a lot, and she would be full if her assistant and manager didn't call her. But now, after holding the pig's trotter for a long time, she just pursed her lips and bit down. She was chewing in her mouth, but she frowned. It wasn't that the pig's trotters didn't taste good, but that she was debating whether to swallow it or not. After finally swallowing this bite, she couldn't take another bite, and silently put the pig's trotters back. She walked to the window and looked out. From her position, she could just see Gu Huiyan driving away in the parking lot. No one knows how much she wants to stop Gu Huiyan now, tell him to come back and be with her. She is so lonely. But she didn't do that. She just watched Gu Huiyan drive away from here, get on the road, and get further and further away. It wasn't until the car's tail lights disappeared from her sight that she leaned against the floor-to-ceiling window and slowly slid to the ground. She still couldn't be happy, she couldn't always be happy. She thought that if she were Gu Huiyan's girlfriend, he would definitely not leave tonight, but she was not, so it would be unfair for him to stay. Gu Huiyan has many good works, many people like them, they are well known, and almost no one hates them. But there is one song that Shang Xuan hates very much. That song is called Contentment. At this time, Gu Huiyan was already driving back, and to be honest, he was not in a good mood. Gu Huiyan felt very bad about Shang Xuan tonight, worse than ever since he met Shang Xuan. Maybe they would still chase and fight when the fireworks were set off, but Gu Huiyan clearly felt that she was actually not that happy and just reluctantly cooperated with him. Occasionally, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think, if he had not left so decisively that night, but stayed with her when she cried and explained the truth clearly, would Shang Xuan not be like this now? That night, it seemed that he only considered that he would not be able to leave unless he made a decisive move, and did not consider Shang Xuan's feelings. When you have a lot of thoughts. In the rear-view mirror, the lights of the car behind caught Gu Huiyan's attention. Gu Huiyan slowed down and waited for the car to come over. He glanced at it and couldn't help but frown. This car seemed to have been following him since he arrived. This group of people can't live in peace even during the New Year. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently. Fortunately, he didn't take Shang Xuan out, otherwise it would be hard to tell if he was photographed. Thinking that he might have to come to deliver food to Shang Xuan tomorrow, Gu Huiyan said he had to think of a way. Dong, dong. Walking on the empty elevated highway, Gu Huiyan could see occasional fireworks on both sides. He simply slowed down, took a chance to take a picture and sent it to Shang Xuan, saying, "Go to bed early, there's nothing you can't handle." Shang Xuan didn't reply, and Gu Huiyan thought she was asleep. Time passed and the next day came in a blink of an eye. In the morning, Gu Huiyan got up and went out to celebrate the New Year with his family. Now the New Year celebration is actually not as good as before. They are not allowed to set off firecrackers. Gu Huiyan remembered that when he was in the village, the New Year's Day was always lively, and gunfire started everywhere before dawn. He couldn't sleep at all on New Year's Eve. Everyone would put on clean new clothes at dawn after 6 o'clock. Wearing clothes to go out to pay New Year greetings. Now that conditions have improved and everyone has moved to the city, many people just make a phone call to pay New Year greetings. They don't even have the chance to wear new clothes and go out to look cool. For example, Gu Huiyan has nothing to do after celebrating the New Year. He stays at home and watches the replay of last night's Spring Festival Gala. What are you doing? Pei Jingshuman had already made a video call to Gu Huiyan to wish her New Year greetings. In the video, she was wearing a pure white sweater with a high collar. She is very thin and has a perfect shoulder-to-neck ratio, so this kind of sweater suits her well. She was so elegant that when watching the video, Gu Huiyan wanted to run over to see her immediately. Making dumplings. Gu Huiyan was making dumplings with his mother. He didn't know how to make dumplings, so he usually rolled them out. It seems that men always roll dough at home, right? Pei Jingshu said hello to Gu's mother. She was not very good at saying nice things. Gu Huiyan understood her and said a few words briefly, wiped her hands and entered the house with her mobile phone. "Where are you now?" Gu Huiyan asked. Pei Jingshu seemed to be in the car. She chuckled and replied. "Going home, we'll be home soon." Yesterday at the Spring Festival Gala, she still had to stay with her to record after the performance. After the live broadcast ended in the middle of the night, Pei Jingshu rushed home overnight, and it was almost time to arrive. "That's it?" Gu Huiyan hesitated and said. "I have something to tell you." He was wondering if it would be better to talk to Pei Jingshu about Shang Xuan. He felt that there was nothing to hide about it, and Gu Huiyan didn't do anything with Shang Xuan anyway. "Huh? You said?" With a pair of watery eyes that looked very pure, Pei Jingshu just stared at Gu Huiyan in the video. She did not realize at all how what Gu Huiyan was about to say would affect her mood. That is, just as Gu Huiyan was about to say something, suddenly, "Jingshu." Someone seemed to call her name on the other side of Pei Jingshu. Just as the car window was down, a smile appeared on Pei Jingshu's face and shouted. "Mommy! It looks like I'm home." "Who is it? Is it your boyfriend?" Everyone knew that her daughter was in love, and Mother Pei had heard about it for a long time. Seeing that she was still chatting with her boyfriend when she got home, Mother Pei couldn't help but think, this little daughter, she's not married yet. Left already. Pei Jingshu is very busy with work this year and rarely goes home. Pei Ya even came back once in the middle of the year, so she can see people at the end of the year. The youngest daughter is the heart of the family, and the whole family has doted on her since she was a child. Naturally, she feels distressed and misses her after not seeing her for a long time. But who knows that the youngest daughter's thoughts don't seem to be focused on her family, which leaves Pei's mother with a bit of a gap. When asked by her mother, Pei Jingshu's pretty face turned red and she was so embarrassed that she waved her hand and said, "No. It's not." It wasn't that she didn't acknowledge Gu Huiyan, but it was mainly because she was too shy and subconsciously wanted to find an excuse to excuse him. She is usually very shy, but in front of her parents, this is even more amplified. Ah! Gu Huiyan was confused when he heard this. Why couldn't this be true? "No, the video is still on here." "Pei Jingshu, please explain to me clearly, why is it not the case?" Of course, this was what Gu Huiyan was complaining about in his heart. His emotional intelligence was not enough to embarrass Pei Jingshu in front of his elders. "Ah no, don't get me wrong, I'm just, that, oops." Pei Jingshu heard Gu Huiyan's voice in the video and knew that she had said the wrong thing. She wanted to explain to Gu Huiyan, but she didn't know how. He was blushing and hesitating and looking anxious, which was an inexplicable contrast. Pook. Mother Pei even laughed. To be honest, this was the first time she had seen her daughter look like this. Pei Jingshu's good upbringing since she was a child has made her calm and composed at all times, but love, there is no way to teach it at home. This is different from how to behave in society. "Okay, stop showing off, Dad is still waiting at home." Pei Ya couldn't stand it anymore and complained. Pei Jingshu was ashamed and didn't speak. She always didn't know what to do when faced with this kind of thing. Pei's mother wanted to say hello to her youngest daughter's boyfriend, but she was an elder after all and couldn't take the initiative with the younger generation. Fortunately, at this time, Gu Huiyan took the initiative and smiled. "Why don't you give the video to Auntie, and I'll wish Auntie a Happy New Year." Pei Jingshu calmed down a little and looked at herself and her mother with a shy face and her mobile phone. There is a saying that before seeing Pei's mother, Gu Huiyan once thought that Pei Jingshu's beauty was due to a genetic mutation. But after seeing Pei's mother, he realized that she was really better than her predecessor. Pei Jingshu's mother is a very elegant and beautiful woman. According to Pei Jingshu's age, Pei's mother should be at least 50 plus, but Pei's mother in the video looks just like Pei Jingshu's sister. She doesn't look like a middle-aged woman at all. Her skin is firm and white, her face is small and her facial features are quite delicate. Maybe Pei Jingshu is better than Blue in terms of facial features, but the charm of a mature and beautiful woman of Pei's mother is not that of her age. Pei Jingshu can compare. Let Gu Huiyan say that in terms of charming, among the people he knew, Sister Xylin was the only one who could compete with Pei's mother. Happy New Year, Aunt. Gu Huiyan said New Year greetings obediently. It is worth mentioning that this boy is quite serious. He was still lying on the bed while chatting with Pei Jingshu just now, but now he sat up and sat upright. Pei Jingshu laughed. Of course, she didn't expose Gu Huiyan, she just felt his formality. Happy New Year to you too. Mother Pei smiled softly. She really looked like Pei Jingshu when she smiled. Maybe she took good care of herself. Even when she smiled, Mother Pei's face had no wrinkles, and she looked graceful and elegant. The two chatted briefly, but it was nothing more than New Year's greetings. When he took the initiative to greet Pei's mother, Gu Huiyan didn't feel any pressure to meet his parents. As soon as he made a video with Pei's mother, he suddenly felt that his brain was empty and there were no words. It was Pei's mother who kept asking him how his work was going, whether it was cold in the north, whether he had eaten dumplings. Otherwise, it would be really awkward to talk today. His naive look made Pei Jingshu laugh. She had never seen Gu Huiyan look so reserved. Okay, you young people, let's chat. It's too cold outside, so we'll go in first. Tightening her plush shawl, Mother Pei smiled and said hello to Gu Huiyan in the video, and then took the nanny and aunt in with her things. Call. As soon as Pei's mother left, Gu Huiyan breathed a sigh of relief and even raised his hand to wipe the sweat from his head. Are you concerned? Pei Jingshu asked Gu Huiyan funnily, but actually she seemed quite nervous when she recalled her first video call with Gu Huiyan's mother in Yunnan. Gu Huiyan grinned and said that the son-in-law would not be too stressed when meeting his mother-in-law, which made Pei Jingshu giggle and say that your title is too vulgar. The two chatted for a while, and Pei Ya couldn't bear to see her sister chatting with Gu Huiyan outside in the cold. Winter in the south might not be as dry and cold as in the north, but it was definitely not as warm as indoors, so she went out and shouted. Right away. After arriving home for a while, Pei Jingshu didn't go back to say hello to her father, but was chatting with her boyfriend. This was wrong, so Pei Jingshu planned to hang up the phone. Hey, that. Gu Huiyan also wanted to say that I haven't talked about my internal affairs yet, so he shouted. Huh? What's wrong? I don't know if she rushed back overnight after performing at the Spring Festival Gala last night. Pei Jingshu seemed to be not in a good state of mind, so she was a little forgetful and asked. Oh no. It's nothing. Gu Huiyan grinned. Seeing that Pei Jingshu was in a good mood because she went home for the new year, he felt that speaking out about Shang Xuoyan might affect her mood, so Gu Huiyan didn't say anything. He smiled and said. Go back quickly, your family is waiting for you. Pei Jingshu nodded, but she did not hang up the phone in a hurry, caring about her peace of mind. Why don't you hang up? Pei Jingshu said nothing, looking away, her pretty face flushed slightly as if she was waiting for something. Gu Huiyan smiled and said. If I want to be by your side, I will definitely kiss you before leaving, but if you wait for me to say something like I love you, I like you while we are chatting on video, is that too greasy? Pei Jingshu smiled when she heard this, rolled her eyes at him, and said. Who asked you to tell me, you are so selfish? After saying that, she hung up the phone. Call. After hanging up the phone, Gu Huiyan let out a long breath. It was getting late now, almost 10 o'clock. Gu Huiyan didn't know if Shang Xuan had eaten this morning. There must be no food sold outside on New Year's Day. The ones he brought last night, let alone overnight, were really not suitable for eating in the morning, to be honest. So Gu Huiyan quickly tidied up, went out to fry a few pieces of yellow noodle steamed at home, made some freshly cooked dumplings, said hello to his mother, and went out. Why are you running around during the Chinese New Year? Gu Ma frowned and thought to herself, who is this kid bringing food to? After going downstairs and driving, Gu Huiyan made a phone call and headed straight to the city. When he left the community, a very familiar car followed him again. Gu Huiyan didn't seem to notice and went straight to the city. In the car behind, there was indeed a bunch of paparazzi. I'm telling you, once you catch this, it's going to be a big melon. The man in glasses sitting in the passenger seat holding a camera and taking photos wildly said to the sloppy young man behind. Gu Huiyan went to the hotel late last night with his things and stayed for a few hours before coming out. He went out again this morning. Do you know what this means? Explanation, that he had a secret meeting with his lover late at night. You're quite smart, kid. The man with glasses grinned and said. We already released the news last night. We are just waiting for today to capture the footage of Gu Huiyan, the new king and top star. Many of our colleagues couldn't capture it. Let us capture it. I will just squat here and wait for it on New Year's Eve, right? These celebrities are so secretive in their work. Who would have thought that Gu Huiyan would go to the hotel to meet his lover in the middle of the night on New Year's Eve? They are a studio in Beijing that specializes in marketing and breaking news. They are quite famous in the industry. They have exposed information about many well-known artists, because many of their artists have failed. Because they caught some information about Gu Huiyan last night, they directly announced it in the live broadcast room, saying, tomorrow we will reveal a new top 3 character man. This is someone you would never have thought of. That's an exaggeration. Some marketing accounts are also cooperating with their marketing, and there are various speculations in the comment area about who is about to collapse. But in fact, few people guessed Gu Huiyan. The main reason is that Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's pay companion takes care of CP status is too stable. In addition, Gu Huiyan has always given everyone the impression of being honest and honest. With such an obvious hint, no one guessed it was Gu Huiyan. Because of this, if they really found out about Gu Huiyan, it would be a big deal. It will make a group of people's jaws drop. Thinking of this, these paparazzi were very excited. Is it easy for them to squat in the car and take pictures of Gu Huiyan at sub-zero temperatures at night in winter instead of going home for the Chinese New Year? Fortunately, none of this is meaningless. Following Gu Huiyan all the way. Sure enough, what made them very excited was that Gu Huiyan's car arrived at the hotel last night again. Hurry up! The few people in the car were shooting like crazy with a camera, wishing they could record every detail. Some took photos and some recorded videos. They looked very professional. After Gu Huiyan entered, they also waited outside. To be honest, they were really looking forward to taking a picture of Gu Huiyan and a certain woman together. If they really took that kind of picture, it would be a real deal. If it can't be photographed, it will definitely not be hammered. The audience is not fools, and Gu Huiyan's company is not vegetarian. It is impossible to say what you say without evidence. But they thought they should be able to take a photo. It was too late last night, so the two of them couldn't go out during the day, right? Hey! It's coming, it's coming. Sure enough, Gu Huiyan came out just 10 minutes after he entered. When we came out, we were still 2 people. Look, look, what did I say? These celebrities are so pissed off. The older paparazzi wearing glasses shouted excitedly. There is no way for girls to stay in the hotel without coming out. No matter what happens, they have to be sent away. He was always excited. He would be really rich when he returned home after taking this photo. Those who broke the news also had an industrial chain. After Gu Huiyan was destroyed, his resources were dispersed to some companies and artists, and their benefits were also indispensable. His heart was trembling with excitement, and his hand holding the camera was trembling. When he saw the two of them, God knows how happy he was. He even felt that he was settled for the rest of his life. Thinking of this, he immediately zoomed in with his camera. He wanted to see who the woman was who could make Gu Huiyan, who already had the beauty Pei Jingshu, come out to eat. After today, there will no longer be a new king of internal entertainment, Gu Huiyan. This crepe myrtle star dropped from the sky was destroyed in their hands. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 228. Chapter 226. Don't be nice to me. The harder you try to catch up with the shadow of light, the harder it is to escape, that's all. These paparazzi in the car are so excited. Each one of them was holding the camera as if they were their biological father, excited to see who the person who came out of the hotel with Gu Huiyan was, but when they zoomed in and saw the front faces of the two people, there was suddenly silence in the car. These paparazzi look at me and I look at you, and it feels like there are two words written on each of their heads. Dumbass. Because the person who came out of the hotel room with Gu Huiyan was not a woman, but a male. That's right, it's a man. The man didn't wear a mask and was dressed very casually. He laughed from time to time while chatting with Gu Huiyan. The two of them were joking. He even handed Gu Huiyan a cigarette, but Gu Huiyan didn't smoke it. At first glance, they look like friends. Walk this. At that time, the paparazzi wearing glasses was completely devastated. What the hell is this? Then Gu Huiyan secretly drove to the city in the middle of the night last night to go to the hotel to meet a man? Are you really kidding me? While they were in a daze, Gu Huiyan had already picked up the male friend and drove away. These people didn't chase this time because they knew very well that there was no point in chasing now. They didn't get any information. This time the game was ruined. They squatted downstairs at Gu Huiyan's house all night long on New Year's Eve, predicting that everything was over. And on the other side, Gu Huiyan drove away, and when he saw in the rearview mirror that the car was not following him, he felt relieved and shook his head helplessly with a smile. What about this matter? Let's start from more than an hour ago. More than an hour ago, while driving out, Gu Huiyan made a phone call. Okay, then go and wait for me somewhere. I'll be there in a moment. When we're done, we can come out together. Well, please. Hi, no problem, I can treat you to a few meals. You have to have time even if you don't have time. That's right, he found a friend in the city and went to stay at the hotel where Shang Zuoyan stayed in advance. When he arrived, the two of them came out together, pretending that he was looking for a male friend. Fool the paparazzi. The main reason is that Gu Huiyan noticed someone following him last night. Normally, there are many cars on the road and sometimes you can't see it. But last night on New Year's Eve, they were the only two cars on the elevated highway, and they were the two of them going back and forth. Gu Huiyan saw if you don't come out, it means you don't have the sense of smell of an artist. Then you are just blind and brain dead. Because of this, he was very cautious when he went out this morning. Thank you. Gu Huiyan sent his friend back to his house. This friend's name was Wang Lu. He was one of Gu Huiyan's childhood friends. They grew up playing together and had a good relationship. The house they bought in the city 2 years ago was not far from where Shang Zuoyan lived. The hotel is not too far. Polite. Wang Lu held a cigarette in his mouth, stood beside Gu Huiyan's car, and asked with a smile. But why did your friend leave so suddenly? He was also thinking that he and Gu Huiyan could meet a star together. Gu Huiyan's eyes dimmed slightly when he heard this, and he couldn't help but turn his head and glance at the lunch he brought for Shang Zuoyan behind him. That's right, Shang Zuoyan has left. Gu Huiyan had been knocking at the door for a long time just now. When he didn't see Shang Zuoyan coming to open the door, he thought Shang Zuoyan had gone out and wanted to call her to ask where she was. As a result, the aunt who cleaned the room said that she left with her suitcase last night. There may be something wrong. Gu Huiyan replied to Wang Lu, and the two briefly chatted for a few words. They were both busy during the New Year, so they agreed to have dinner together later, and Gu Huiyan drove away. When he got home, Gu Huiyan called Shang Zuoyan, but no one answered, and the ring was hung up after a while. Gu Huiyan had no choice but to send a message asking, "Why did you leave? What time was it when he left last night? It was already late at night, right?" In other words, after Gu Huiyan left, she packed up her things and left overnight. Why? It was obviously fine when I left yesterday. At that time, Gu Huiyan looked at the V letter and it said in pudding. But it disappeared after a while. It seemed that Shang Zuoyan was struggling with how to tell him. After a while, she sent a message and said, "I've gone home to celebrate the New Year. Am I still here on the first day of the New Year?" Gu Huiyan was silent for a while after watching it, and couldn't help but send a message asking, "How did you leave?" After sending it, nothing happened again. Shang Zuoyan did not reply for a long time. I have to say that Gu Huiyan is really very detail-oriented. On New Year's Day, although the high-speed trains and planes will not be suspended, not just anyone can grab the tickets. Gu Huiyan didn't think that Shang Zuoyan could grab the train and plane tickets for the New Year's Day. She probably didn't book them in advance. She really wanted to go home before the New Year's Eve. As for leaving today, her home doesn't seem to be in a nearby city. Gu Huiyan remembers that she seems to be from the Gansu area of Shaanxi. What home are you going back to? She was afraid that she had temporarily gone to another city to avoid Gu Huiyan. Leave me alone. For a long time. Just when Gu Huiyan was about to call again and ask, Shang Zuoyan replied, "Who are you to me? Why do you care so much?" She started to be a little willful again. She always was like this, at least with Gu Huiyan. She didn't like to be restrained. This time it was Gu Huiyan's turn and he didn't know what to say. Indeed, he was not Shang Zuoyan's, and it would do him no good if he insisted on taking care of Shang Zuoyan. Like today, he was almost photographed by the paparazzi. Once he had a private meeting with Shang Zuoyan during the Chinese New Year and was randomly photographed, he would immediately transform from a new top star who was on the rise to a collapse artist that everyone was shouting about. The more high profile the Pei Ban takes care of CP with Pei Jingshu, the worse he will be scolded if he fails. And Gu Huiyan doesn't have much free time. Today is the first day of junior high school, and he will leave after lunch tomorrow, the second day of junior high school. The air tickets are all booked in advance. It is very difficult to change the booking during the Chinese New Year, and the work is also arranged and cannot be postponed. He didn't have time to take care of Shang Zuoyan. But how to put it? He was just worried about Shang Zuoyan. Her condition is worrying and very distressing. When Gu Huiyan was stunned, Shang Zuoyan sent another message, saying, "You don't have to worry about me. I don't have depression, and I won't seek short-sightedness. I'm just in a bad state. I'll just adjust for a while. You don't have to feel sorry for me, and you don't need to take any responsibility. Don't be stressed. Besides, don't be nice to me. Because you can't always be nice to me." No one knew that last night when Gu Huiyan cared about her, brought her food and took her to set off fireworks, how much she hoped that he would always be so kind to her. But it seems that this is not realistic. Even if they set off fireworks, they have to hide from the paparazzi. They may be afraid of being photographed when they go out, because if they are photographed, they will be finished. That night, during the Guangzhou concert, Shang Zuoyan told Gu Huiyan after being drunk that she was willing to be a shameless woman. But how could that be nothing more than drunken gibberish? How could she be willing to hide from the light of her character? She wants to show her affection to Gu Huiyan openly, and openly even more than Pei Jingshu. She likes to show off more than anyone else. She even fantasized about being in love with Gu Huiyan and posted on WeChat moments to tell everyone about it. She is such a girl. That is to say, Gu Huiyan did not agree to her that night. Even if he obeyed her, she would not be so well behaved. She was always so willful, always has been, and has never changed. The message she sent was quite cruel. Gu Huiyan felt a little guilty after seeing it. But why was Shang Zuoyan willing to send such a message to Gu Huiyan so cruelly? She admitted that she had been in a bad mood recently, but it was not without reason that she sent such a message. She is still greedy for the warmth that Gu Huiyan gave her, but she knows very well that it does not belong to her. Gu Huiyan will not give it to her when she wants it. Now that she is like this, Gu Huiyan will care about her, which will make her feel that Gu Huiyan is pitying her. She didn't want that pitiful warmth. So she would rather cut off contact with Gu Huiyan. It's been a while. Gu Huiyan just replied to her and said, "Wish you a happy new year." He also knew that what Shang Zuoyan said was angry, so he was not angry and didn't care. It was a bit false to say that he was concerned at this time. He really couldn't ask Shang Zuoyan where he was chasing her. All I can say is this. At this time, Shang Zuoyan was sitting in a taxi. She was still wearing the pink down jacket from yesterday, and her thick black hair was tied so casually with a hairband at the back of her head. It didn't quite fit her image. When had her hairstyle been so plain? At least there must be some nice little braids or something. Fortunately, the female star's temperament is still there. After losing weight, Shang Zuoyan looks more temperamental. The main reason is that the white jade neck is much thinner. It is white and thin like a swan's neck. The thin neck really makes her look more elegant. Good-spirited people. Looking at Gu Huiyan's message, she felt a little wet in her eyes. She knew very well that Gu Huiyan sent such a message, which meant that they had no contact for a long time. But she didn't cry, she just turned her head and looked out the window. Outside, it's snowing. People say that auspicious snow heralds a good harvest, so when it snows at the beginning of the year, it should be a good sign, right? Shang Zuoyan also hopes that this is the case, hoping that she can forget about this guy Gu Huiyan. At this time, music was playing in the car. A very familiar singing voice came to Shang Zuoyan's ears, disrupting her thoughts. Ubli le. I told myself several times. The harder you try to catch up with the shadow of light, the more you can't pull away, that's all. Jita Amaze. I am the only one who will be unforgettable. It took a lot of effort to give up my sincere courage. Your silent response is kindness. The name engraved in my heart. This song is a single from Gu Huiyan's first solo album that became popular throughout the Chinese music scene in 2001. It is called The Name Engraved in My Heart. Maybe it's because the other songs are too bright, so this song is a bit buried. The title song Sunny Day still tops the hot song charts on all major platforms. Missing is a Disease became very popular because Pei Jingshu sang the chorus. The chorus of Summer is more suitable for short videos and is very popular on various short video platforms. The R/U0026 amp, 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 B-style and difficult guitar tab of Ordinary Friends are extremely advanced. Snail was even named by Yang Ma to be used for inspirational promotion. Only this song The Name Engraved in My Heart has always had no characteristics. The biggest label is Gu Huiyan's rare bitter feeling style. Shang Zuoyan usually doesn't like to listen to those kind of sad songs. She is a girl who is full of vitality and changes in a variety of ways. She usually likes to listen to some lively songs that can make people active. Even if she is in a bad mood recently, she still doesn't like to listen to them. That kind of song. I'm already in a bad mood, but if I listen to sad songs, doesn't it make me feel worse the more I listen to them? So she rarely listened to the song The Name Engraved in My Heart. But today, do not know why. When I hear this song, I feel like I am singing myself. I told myself several times that the harder I try to catch up with the shadow of light, the more I can't get away. She didn't want to be close to Gu Huiyan, so she chose to leave overnight because she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to get away. I am the only one who will never forget me. I finally gave up my sincere courage. Your silent response is kindness. Ever since they were in Yunnan, every time she showed her sincerity, Gu Huiyan would either remain silent or make fun of her. It was always difficult for him to say that he liked her. So, when Gu Huiyan wrote this song, did he know that they would be where they are today? Or was this song originally written about her? Woo! Shang Zuoyan was tense at first, but she couldn't control her tears again when she thought of this. What kind of bad song did the stinky bastard write? It was snowing outside the window, and Shang Zuoyan in the car burst into tears while listening to the song. But she never asked the driver to cut the song. On the second day of junior high school, after lunch, Zhang Nuan took his assistant to Gu Huiyan's house to pick him up. When she received Gu Huiyan, Zhang Nuan laughed and said, "Those people who squatted downstairs to take pictures of you during the Chinese New Year have become a joke in the entire industry, you know." Ah! Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment. He was celebrating the New Year with his family these 2 days. He had to leave on the second day of the New Year, so he went to a few relatives' houses in advance. He even attended a small party last night. He really didn't have much time to read the news on the internet. Zhang Nuan laughed and told him. After hearing this, Gu Huiyan was also happy. Just the group of paparazzi who followed him yesterday. They are a well-known filming studio in Beijing. On the night of New Year's Eve, they released news to set the pace and said that the new 3-character male top melon to be exposed is Gu Huiyan. Did you see it? People guessed it was Gu Huiyan, and they also specifically pointed out that this person was called the purple star from the sky. All I have to do is name Gu Huiyan. This has ignited the hearts of many melon-eating people. Because their studio is relatively famous and has exposed several big names, so some people are really afraid that Gu Huiyan will collapse, and fans of Pei Ban takes care of CP are also staring at him. Who knew that these paparazzi didn't expose anything on the first day of the new year? Just when people were talking about the little black guy who said that Gu Huiyan must have paid to suppress the popularity, it was suddenly revealed on the internet that Gu Huiyan went to a hotel on New Year's Eve and was suspected of having a secret meeting with his lover, but the next day he came out of the hotel with a man. Information. This made a group of people laugh to death. After a long time of fuss, Gu Huiyan went to the hotel to find a man? Of course, some people will say that just because he and a man came out of the hotel, they are not necessarily innocent. It's not necessarily true that a man is added to a man. This is a joke. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that Gu Huiyan is looking for a friend. The two of them came out talking and laughing. He doesn't have any friends at home. And the studio that said it was going to expose Gu Huiyan was wiped out. First of all, the fighting power of Gu Huiyan's fans has skyrocketed with his popularity in the past 6 months. Even fans of Pei Jingshi's family dare to challenge him. Anyone who dares to smear him will definitely have his mouth chopped off first. Do you really think that our Gu Lulu's family's eye-catching bags are just in vain? Secondly, there are fans of Pei Jingshi's family. Fans of Sister Pei's family are famous for their strong fighting ability in domestic entertainment. They have never been defeated in online battles with anyone they have encountered. They have fought all over domestic entertainment without losing. Many accounts wearing Pei Jingshi's vest directly went to the comment area of the studio's account to yell at them and scold them fiercely. Finally, there is a group of CP fans who are taken care of by Pei Ban. Some people make rumors about Gu Huiyan to discuss them. How can they tolerate this? plus some dear people. All in all, this studio has been scolded badly. In fact, this kind of exposure paparazzi is quite interesting. Whenever they put out a stunt, people will watch it. If they have real information to expose it, it will satisfy the people who want to expose it. They will also benefit a lot, even if there is no real information. They just don't talk. You can completely pretend that the person who wants to expose me is paid. People who eat melons will always guess. It costs nothing to spread rumors, and it can also maintain traffic for them. But this time, they were in trouble. Who is Gu Huiyan's boss? Zhang Dan, the talent godmother of domestic entertainment. She had been paying attention to this matter in the past 2 days, and she felt that something was not right, so on the first day of the new year, when they had not exposed anything, she contacted the group of people who were squatting to take pictures of Gu Huiyan that day. After asking about the ins and outs of the matter and confirming that Gu Huiyan was not photographed, she simply spent money to buy the photos of Gu Huiyan from this group of people. Use it to reverse whitewash Gu Huiyan. The paparazzi wanted to expose information about Gu Huiyan, so they squatted downstairs in his house to take pictures on a winter night with several degrees below zero on New Year's Eve. He actually went out in the middle of the night, but nothing was photographed. Isn't this enough to show how innocent Gu Huiyan is? Even this studio, which is famous for having brought down several top-notch artists with its own hands, didn't take any photos of Gu Huiyan. Isn't that enough to show his integrity? As for why those paparazzi sold photos to Mother Zhang. On the one hand, Mother Zhang gave her too much, and on the other hand, they couldn't go on a trip for nothing on New Year's Eve. It would be useless to keep this photo, so they might as well sell some money and use it as their New Year's red envelope. As for the studio being flushed, go ahead. Anyway, the paparazzi is not a public figure and has no public image. He is just a ruin. What kind of reputation do you need? In short, this matter can be considered settled like this. It's just that the senior paparazzi wearing glasses is not willing to accept it. He always feels that something is not quite right. Haha. After hearing what happened, Gu Huiyan laughed and thought it was quite interesting. So you really went to meet friends that day, right? Zhang Nuan asked with a smile. What if? Gu Huixin said, I went to see Shang Zuoyan, can I tell you? Although artists should communicate with the company in advance if their personal affairs are exposed like this, they don't have to say everything. That's good. Zhang Nuan nodded and said. If you betray Sister Pei, I will be the first to refuse. She can also be regarded as a fan of Pei Ban takes care of CP. Gu Huiyan. Aim. You'd better know who you're working and eating with. This is something that you eat inside and outside. Zhang Nuan stuck out her tongue and laughed. Gu Huiyan shook his head helplessly, picked up his phone and sent Zhang Nuan a music file and said. You should work on this song and ask the company if you can release it as a single. Huh? New song. Zhang Nuan's eyes lit up after hearing this. He really cares about Huiyan. How many days can he come up with a new song after staying at home for the Chinese New Year? She clicked it and took a look, but couldn't help but stare. What is this? Why does the title of this song feel so weird? What is it called? Don't listen to slow songs for sad people? Gu Huiyan smiled and did not explain. He thought that maybe that was all he could do for Shang Zuoyan. Don't get me wrong, this song is not designed for Shang Zuoyan as mentioned before. This song is a temporary one. It will be really designed for her current situation later. It will be better. Let's look forward to it. In addition, no one should say that Shang Zuoyan has collapsed and is beyond recognition. There is no possibility. If you believe in her, she will believe in you. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 229. Don't listen to slow songs when you're sad. An ultimate rock work. As far as creation is concerned, the lyrics are a bit nonsensical, but if you look at the arrangement, you will feel that this song is simply a divine song. Drums and electric guitars are bombarding you from beginning to end. The drum beats are so dense that you can't stop on your toes. You can't help but keep beating to it. No matter how sad you are when listening to the song, you will be naturally attracted by its melody. It becomes infected, mobilized, and makes the whole person restless. As the title suggests, this song is not a slow song, but an extremely fast song that implements happiness and rejects all emo. It is definitely not suitable for people who are feeling sad. The more desperate you are, the more you will feel when you listen to it. Probably because most of Gu Huiyan's works are conscientious and high-quality works, this song passed the review almost the same day after it was given to the company. The team not only contacted the recording studio to record the song, but also contacted the platform to get the news. Several platforms are vying for the exclusive authorization of this song. Like crazy. In the second half of last year, Meeting written by Gu Huiyan to Pei Jingshu was exclusively released on Penguin Music, and its sales in 1 month set a record of over 100 million. Since then, Gu Huiyan's works have really improved. Whenever he releases a new song, there is always a rush to get it. His works can not only bring terrifying traffic to those platforms, but also bring countless VIP users. Whether it is charging or adding V, the platform can make a steady profit. The big one among them must be Penguin. Goose Factory has been rich and powerful since ancient times, and the other platforms have no competitiveness. Fortunately, the parent company of Douyin took action. They launched a music app called Soda 2 years ago, and they were also engaged in exclusive music licensing. So they started bidding with Penguin, and the two sides were inseparable. Some small platforms that are relatively poor can only sigh helplessly, thinking that they won't have a share this time. Who knew, at this moment, Gu Lulu would take action. He generously stated that it would be available on all platforms and that it would be free without adding AV. He was silent for a few big platforms that were bidding crazy. Let's just say that Gu Huiyan's previous works didn't charge V fees because they weren't so popular before. Later, when they became popular, they didn't have time to follow up on this point. They thought that Gu Huiyan's new songs would definitely have to be charged. As for Pei Jingshu's song How Much Money Did Meat Make? But Gu Huiyan is stubborn and doesn't charge for his songs. It's not about showing love or pretending to be a good person. The main reason is that Gu Huiyan is not very short of money now. Even if he earned it in the second half of last year, it was actually enough for him to live in his hometown for a lifetime or two. Money is indeed a thing that no one thinks is too much, but for Gu Huiyan just say it's enough. And he didn't do this without his own reasons. Paid songs may make more money, but they only make money for a short period of time. The most important thing for an artist is his own reputation, while a singer's work depends on the popularity. If you want your work to be popular, then charging a fee is not realistic. Prostitutes will always be the majority in this world, and Gu Huiyan is always a prostitute. He understands how they feel. Long live Sister Lee. Moreover, strictly speaking, this thing of charging is actually harvesting fans. Of course, you have to compare the works of old-name singers that later added V charges to determine whether you win. Their works are from the record era. At that time, piracy was everywhere, and free downloads were available everywhere, even if they are charged now. Everyone who should listen has heard it, and it is no less popular than those that have been sung. No matter at any time, the free whore party will conquer the world. Several big bidding platforms must be stupid. What they want is exclusive licensing, which will bring greater benefits to their platforms. For this reason, they often argued with Gu Huiyan, but Gu Huiyan was quite stubborn and insisted on going for free. Several small platforms that cannot afford a lot of money are laughing. They thought there was no hope at first. Who knew something would fall out of the sky? They said to themselves that we actually have a share of this overwhelming wealth. Is there such a good thing? Gu Huiyan is a good person. Because of this matter, the company has been arguing with Gu Huiyan a lot. God knows how jealous they are when Pei Jingshu's song Meeting sells over 100 million a month. No matter how bad Gu Huiyan's new song is, it will definitely sell tens of millions. In the end, this guy gave others you can charge for any song, but your own song is free. Are you crazy? For this matter, many people in the company tried hard and soft things on him, but he remained unmoved. The last few people in charge were so angry that they called him a prodigal son and so on. They were so angry that they almost cursed his mother. Gu Huiyan chuckled and looked at the people in charge with annoyance. If I remember correctly, before he released the new album, Zhang Ma said reverse marketing, but these people used different methods to hint that the public relations department would scold him with. At that time, had they ever thought that things would change now? Speaking of Mother Zhang can't say she agrees with his free move, but she doesn't object either. The main thing is that she is behind the scenes and can be considered a type of capital. Who doesn't value money in all capital? But considering Gu Huiyan's current personality and reputation, it would actually be quite beneficial for him to take the free route. Just let him go. If you don't let the fans and Lu people know about it, then you are doing it in vain. So when Gu Huiyan's new song Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs was released and promoted and posted, Jiang's mother came up with a copy for him and said, "Come and listen, my songs are free of charge." Then, there is crazy marketing. Because Gu Huiyan's works have always been free of charge. Some people have praised this before, but the company has not promoted it much. This time, because the new song is released for free, I simply took the opportunity to hype it up. What is it again? Guanzhou Media's Biggest Loser. What is it again? Free Conscience Singer. Wait for these. One marketing account even made up a story, saying that no one listened to Gu Huiyan's music before. He made an album and submitted it to several companies, but no one wanted it. No one even distributed it. They all felt that his songs were not profitable and would not become popular. He really wanted others to listen to his songs. When he was the saddest, he just wanted to say, "Come and listen to my songs are free of charge." Hence the copywriting of Gu Huiyan's new song today. It's quite distressing. There is also a marketing account that said that the group of people who like Gu Huiyan's works are mostly young people, many of whom are students. They have little money and little income, so Gu Huiyan's new songs are free for them. Quite touching. There are even several marketing accounts that are promoting how popular Gu Huiyan's new songs are with the platform, and how important he is to the company as a cash cow. How much pressure has he resisted by choosing to be free? Over and over again. Fans were stunned after hearing this. The more I listen to it, the more I like Gu Huiyan. The comment section is all saying. All I can say is, it has to be my brother. To be honest, I really don't want him to pay 3 or 2 yuan for a song, but he doesn't even care about me asking for 3 or 2 yuan. I'm so damn embarrassed about this. His songs are of such high quality that they don't cost a penny, but some little guy shouts and screams to make ends meet, but charges 20 or 31 yuan, haha. The prostitution gang said that they will follow Gu Huiyan from now on. Don't say anything and just blame him for free. My brother deserves to enjoy the ancestral temple. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x69. Because of this incident, Gu Huiyan got a lot of system points, which was really an unexpected surprise for Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan still has more than 30,000 points, which is quite abundant, but since he will join the cast of Go Where the Wind Is in May next year, he just wants to save some points to add to his acting skills and take his time. In fact, at this stage, Gu Huiyan feels that the system is not very useful anymore, but Gu Huiyan is still very grateful to the system for pointing him to a clear path called grounding. After Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs was released, it had more than 20 million views in just half a day, and it continues to soar. When everyone else likes to sing bitter love songs, and those internet singers on the internet make all kinds of unnecessary moans and perform emo shows with embarrassing crying sounds, and when they don't sing and cry, others cry first. Gu Huiyan went against the grain and wrote a song called Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs. The high-burning melody and cheerful rhythm were like a curse, directly scolding those who moaned without reason. Originally, there were many netizens making jokes in the comments section of several popular emo songs recently, saying that it was you who Gu Huiyan was scolding, right? Quite funny. But in fact, Gu Huiyan's song was really not meant to attack anyone. I just wanted to write this to Shang Xuan. When the new song's dynamic design copy was released, Gu Huiyan wanted to say a few words to her, but the company wanted to do marketing, and Jiang's mother also assigned the copy, so he had no choice but to give up. But as the new song became popular, Gu Huiyan felt that if he didn't say a few words, he would be afraid that Shang Xuan wouldn't see it, so he simply pinned a comment of his own in the comment area of the news. He said, "I hope you will be happy no matter when you are standing, sitting, lying down or lying down. I originally wanted to at Shang Xuan, but I was afraid of at causing problems, so I simply didn't at and forwarded it to Shang Xuan in a private message." It is worth mentioning that Shang Xuan did not reply. It was already March, and the afterglow of the new year had almost faded away. Gu Huiyan didn't see any news about Shang Xuan for a month. Apart from Weibo's work and advertising updates, she seemed to have disappeared. Same. Because he was also very busy, and because of what she said during the Chinese New Year, Gu Huiyan didn't know how to care about her, so he didn't ask any more questions. Look at this moment. Their news records are still at the end of the year. After posting this song, Gu Huiyan has done his best. Gu Huiyan can't control her for the rest of her life. Most things in this world need to be solved by oneself, and it's useless for anyone to say anything. The rest, she can leave alone. No one thought much about Gu Huiyan's copywriting, and they all thought it was for reposting in conjunction with the new song. Some people speculated whether he was specifically writing it to someone, but no one guessed it was Shang Xuan, and some actually guessed it was Pei Jingshu. Speaking of Pei Jingshu, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu haven't seen each other for a long time. Haha, it's quite funny, isn't it? A pair of Pei Ban takes care of CP who are the most popular and most famous people on the internet. Maybe the first words they say every time they do marketing are, "We haven't seen each other for a long time." This has almost become a joke. One time, Gu Huiyan was asked about this in an interview. Before he could say anything, an audience member rushed to answer the question and yelled this, causing the whole audience to burst into laughter. But actually this is the fact. We met once in Zibo in October when we were filming a gourmet, and now in March of the following year, 5 or 6 months have passed in the blink of an eye. They haven't seen each other for half a year, but haven't they seen each other for a long time? Do you think Gu Huiyan misses Pei Jingshu? I definitely want to. Although the two occasionally talked on the phone and sent messages during this period, the feeling of actually touching her and chatting on the phone were very different. What's more, their chats are intermittent, and instant reply rarely occurs in their world. Of course, Gu Huiyan didn't complain much about this, mainly because he was too busy, so busy that he might not have time to see Pei Jingshu even if she came. On the contrary, it was Pei Jingshu who stated many times that the meeting written by Gu Huiyan for her had harmed her and made her busier and had no time to meet him. She even joked once that he didn't want to see her. She has learned to joke now. Women in love are still bolder than usual, even a beauty like Pei Jingshu. Gu Huiyan just grinned and comforted her, saying that it would be good to get used to it. It might become the norm for the two of them in the future, and being busy is definitely better than not being busy at all. How many artists dream of being as busy as them, and they will be content no matter what. It's not that Gu Huiyan is bragging, just say that he has been getting soft on endorsements and advertisements recently, and he can't wait to have commercial performances and activities every day. I feel that if the year before the year was a period of career growth, the year after the year will be a period of career explosion. In the past, when I had nothing to do, I would calculate how many jobs I took and how much I would have in hand after the company took a commission. Later, there were too many and I didn't bother to count. Now, it is no exaggeration to say that he is making money every day. But Gu Huiyan's life didn't seem to have changed much. It had always been quite dull. He didn't buy any real estate or a car. It wasn't that he didn't buy anything. It was probably because he was too busy and didn't have time to buy anything. I met some artist friends around me and talked about this topic. Some people suggested that if Gu Huiyan buys a house, he should go to super first-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai. It is best to pay taxes for a few more years and come to Shanghai and Guangzhou. Whether it is the climate environment or the all kinds of resources are much better than those in small cities. But Gu Huiyan shook his head and said that he still didn't like this kind of big city. It felt quite crowded. He could accept buying a house in these cities to live here occasionally. It was okay if work required it, but you had to let him settle down. That's not very realistic. Although I didn't buy a house in a big city, I bought a few nice houses in a small city, not only for my family to live in, but also for Guzun to marry his wife in the future. Maybe it's because he has more money. Gu Huiyan occasionally shows off to his mother and gives her hundreds of thousands a month. Gu's mother says that this is a drop in the bucket for Gu Huiyan, but she always smiles happily every time during the video call. Gu Huiyan kept reminding Mom, "Watch your face." Both women are easily contented. That's all. Time is busy and it's May. 8 or 9 months have passed since the last time Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu met. This month, Gu Huiyan's schedule is actually relatively loose. There are no longer so many endorsements, advertisements, and commercial performances that require flying all over the country. As for the reason, on the one hand, he is joining the cast of Go Where the Wind Is this month. Gu Huiyan had already greeted the crew via video a few days ago. On the other hand, it is because this month, he has another variety show to record. It is a variety show produced by our company, called Hello Life Partner. This variety show was started by Zhang Ma right after the end of Crystal Love season last year. At that time, she was also inspired by Gu Huiyan, so she wanted to make a variety show that was closer to life. There are actually not many lifestyle variety shows in the market. There are some that are popular, but many of those that follow the trend are rubbish. The main reason is that many people can't do it well. Lifestyle variety shows focus on daily life, but celebrities are celebrities after all. Their daily lives are relatively generous and very different from ordinary people. It's normal for the audience not to buy it. As for why Zhang Ma would do this variety show, that must be because of Gu Huiyan. Xiao Gu is famous for being down to earth. When he was in Crystal Love season, Jiang's mother felt that he would be like a duck in water in a lifestyle variety show. He can handle the ratings of the entire show by himself. So if you do a program like this, you can definitely make money without losing money. Talking back to the show, the location chosen for the first season is a small village by the sea in Hainan. The village is called Whale Village. Although the place is relatively remote, the transportation is relatively developed. The program team rented a large piece of land by the sea. I built a few small buildings myself and used them as program recording locations. They are quite well designed and every house is pretty. The recording method of the program is still the same as Crystal Love season, but it will not be recorded every day. Basically, everyone will record it collectively on weekends every week, so that the schedules of the guests can be easily adjusted. especially Gu Huiyan. In May, he will join the cast of Go to Where the Wind Is. This drama is quite important to Zhang Ma. Except for some activities that cannot be avoided this month, he has basically turned down all the work that can be turned down. In the next few months, only the Yunnan crew and Hainan variety shows will be like this. Although they were still traveling back and forth between Yunnan and Hainan, it was really easy for Gu Huiyan. He had traveled to 2 cities in one day before, and it was so exhausting on the plane. It is worth mentioning that this show has a lot of regular guests. Too much is a bit exaggerated. The first is the main star. This time Zhang Ma personally appeared on the scene. Although she spends most of her time behind the scenes, she has also appeared in several talent shows as a mentor before. She is well known. Everyone knows that she is the boss and the main star. Very enough. The second person is He Yu, the host of Orange Channel who Gu Huiyan is familiar with and has met many times. This teacher has a good reputation in the industry, and a professional host will not be awkward when chatting with everyone. The third. I'm ashamed to say that the third host is Gu Huiyan himself. Well, that's right, Gu Huiyan is now qualified to be the main chef. Although he debuted less than a year ago, and he just received the notice to join Crystal Love season almost at this time last year, Gu Huiyan's traffic and celebrity status are definitely top tier in the industry. The key is that he has a work, Sunny Day and other countless masterpieces have established his position in the industry, and he is truly worthy of his reputation as the main star. As for the rest of the guests, that would be dazzling. Gu Huiyan saw some familiar people in the guest list, such as Zheng Yunbin, whom he met backstage in Time Singer before, and Shen Qingqing, a young man whom he knew well from Crystal Love season and even slept in the same bed. Also like Shang Zuoyan's 3 teammates Su Xiun, Shen Yuqi, and Han Xianji. The tour is over. It's normal for idol-type artists to take on variety shows. There are also some strangers, such as a very famous Hong Kong singer, and a very famous young actress who started out as a child star and is still in college. There is another one who is not Chinese, but a young Tyranda. There is also another one who I heard is a young woman who has just been divorced. There were so many people that Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think, Zhang Ma is making a big deal. Crotch ran, while seeing Shang Zuoyan's 3 teammates, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think, the 3 teammates are here, why didn't Shang Zuoyan come? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 230. Hidden Guests. When Pei Jingshu received the invitation from Hello Life Partner, it was in March when Gu Huiyan released his new song Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs. At that time, nearly half a year had passed since I met Gu Huiyan in October last year. Well, they said they want to invite you to be a resident guest. Pei Ya put her hands around her chest and sat next to Pei Jingshu's makeup mirror, saying helplessly, "But our schedule is not suitable. We can only fly guests for 2 periods at most, and the time will be a little tight, so what they mean is not to put us on the guest list, so that you can surprise us as a hidden guest. Make an appearance and give that boy a surprise. It does not matter." Pei Jingshu pursed her lips and smiled. In front of the dressing mirror, her pretty face was still fair and delicate, and her watery eyes were gentle and bright. With her appearance, anyone who looked at Sister Pei would give a thumbs up. She just looked at her sister funny and asked with a smile. "Usually if there is a job offer like this, sister, wouldn't you just turn it down without letting me know? What's going on today?" Yes, in the past, Pei Ya would usually turn down jobs that were close to Gu Huiyan's without telling Pei Jingshu. She even heard that she would choose jobs in cities that were close to Gu Huiyan's city and try to avoid them. But now why, are you giving them a chance to meet each other? Hearing this, Pei smiled. She looked at her sister and said helplessly. You two are like this. The more I stop you, the more likely it is that problems will arise. The reason why she did this was actually because Pei Jingshu went to Zibo to see Gu Huiyan in October last year. They had agreed to meet Fei Mo that night, but she didn't come and stayed with Gu Huiyan all night. I also delayed a job. After that incident, Pei Ya felt that her sister was also rebellious. The harder she was pressed, the easier it was for her to rebound. As she and Gu Huiyan are now, there's no point in trying to stop them. Pei Ya still understands this reality. Real or fake? Pei Jingshu laughed. Didn't her sister always look down on Gu Huiyan? Why did she change her gender? At this moment, the assistant next to him smiled and said. Sister, why can't I stop you? It must be because of meat. As soon as these words came out. Puff. Several staff members nearby couldn't help but laugh out loud. Yes. How much money has Gu Huiyan made so far from meeting, which he wrote for Pei Jingshu last year? The monthly sales exceeded 100 million, and even if it is lower in the future, the monthly income will be several million. They are a personal studio and not a company. In addition to working with, there is nothing else other than the platform's share. Is it really crazy to make money? Sales volume is secondary, and the benefits brought by the works to the artists are numerous. Pei Jingshu is a top-notch artist. Recently, she has been thinking of getting promoted and is transforming into a diva. Even if Pei Ya dislikes Gu Huiyan, she has to admit that Gu Huiyan has brought countless benefits to Pei Jingshu. Every time I write songs for Pei Jingshu, the quality is higher than most of the songs in my own album. From this point of view, Gu Huiyan is definitely serious about Pei Jingshu. And it seemed that Gu Huiyan had never made Pei Jingshu suffer, and he was very kind to her. That night when a man and a woman were alone in the same room, he didn't even touch her, which was quite impressive. Impressions can also change slowly. Giggle. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but laugh, saying that her sister was so realistic. Pei Ya. Aiming. With a look from her, the gang shut up and their laughter stopped abruptly. Only Pei Jingshu still smiled secretly. Okay, we'll see each other in 2 months, so you two can have some fun. Pei Ya shook her head and no longer cared about her sister's smile. She hoped that her sister would live well. If Gu Huiyan dared to let Pei Jingshu off, she would fight him to the death. There was a bit of expectation in Pei Jingshu's eyes, and occasionally she would helplessly wonder why she always went to Gu Huiyan to surprise him. The audience was almost tired of watching this routine. Okay. But you said, can she not go? Definitely not. It was probably early May when Gu Huiyan arrived in Hainan. The location where the program was broadcast and recorded, and where the guests were accommodated, was in a resort. Hainan, like Yunnan, is also a tourist city, so there are resorts, hotels, and B/U0026BS everywhere. Hainan has a tropical monsoon climate. This is a place where short-sleeved shirts are worn in the dead of winter. If you say yes, that's definitely good. You don't have to get cold and don't have to wear a cotton-padded jacket. If you say no, it's okay. After all, sometimes it's so hot. In Hainan in May, the rainy season has not yet arrived, and the temperature is generally high, with an average temperature ranging from 25 to 30 degrees. Labor Day has just passed at this time, and some places still wear long sleeves. Gu Huiyan has just flown from the capital. You have to wear a jacket during the day over there, but you have to wear short sleeves when you land here, otherwise you will sweat. Probably because of work, Gu Huiyan arrived late. The guests actually created a group before coming. Because there were so many people, the group was always lively. Everyone was chatting about who arrived and who didn't. It seems that they had a meeting in advance in the evening. Before recording the show, everyone got together to get familiar with each other. This is a normal process. Gu Huiyan arrived too late due to work reasons, so he did not participate in the party. However, although he was absent, everyone would still add him in the group regularly and send him some photos of the party. What are you having for dinner? Wait a minute. There is no way. Who makes him have a huge status in the industry now, and is he still one of the three main stars of the show? Among them, Shen Qingqing, the little girl whom Gu Huiyan is more familiar with, has more hair. She is also the kind of girl who likes to show off. Apart from Zhang Ma, among so many guests, she is actually the only one who is familiar with Gu Huiyan and has known her for a little longer than the others. We even lived together for a few days. Oh yes, I even slept in the same bed. Xiaoji's tea is full of tea, and she always shows off to others how familiar she is with Gu Huiyan. In the group Gu Huiyan always calls her brother Huiyan, for fear that others won't know that she is more familiar with Gu Huiyan than others. Sometimes Gu Huiyan feels helpless, feeling that with so many people around him, Shen Qingqing still calls him that. Shang Zuoyan always called her by her first name. Sister Xilan called her Xiaogu, and even Pei Jingshan never called her brother. Of course, men prefer girls to call him dad rather than Geiji. Although he is in the group, except for Zhang Ma and teacher he will occasionally reply a few words, but other times he usually doesn't bubble up. Especially the little clip Shen Qingqing, Gu Huiyan almost didn't reply to her at video, but Su Xiun and Shen Yuki sent a few posts and Gu Huiyan responded with a few emoticons. This caused Shen Qingqing to be dissatisfied, and even sent a private message to Gu Huiyan, asking, "Brother Huiyan, are you targeting me?" Gu Huiyan still doesn't like her. It made her so angry. To be honest, sometimes Gu Huiyan can see the shadow of Shang Zuoyan in Shen Qingqing, but in fact Shang Zuoyan was much more lively than her at first, and Shang Zuoyan's appearance itself is more like a Barbie doll, which gives her more advantages in appearance. In addition to them, several other people they didn't know also added Gu Huiyan's friends when they created the group, specifically to say hello and get to know each other. For example, the Hong Kong singer named Chen Feng, or the young Tyrande named Zhang Mi. Speaking of Tyranda's little talent, it's also funny. After the domestic entertainment draft has finished poaching show talent, poaching twice cooked pork, and can't dig out Korean and Japanese figures, some Tyrande has been selected in the last few years. Little fresh meat. That brother named Zhang Mi, it's not Gu Huiyan who has colored glasses, he really looks like a she-male, even more so than those extremely virtuous little freshmen in our internal entertainment, and I don't know if his hair is dyed or natural. A beige head. And this name, too. Although I know it was a stage name given by someone else, I don't know why when Gu Huiyan saw his name, he automatically thought of the one he hawked outside when he was a child. Rice dumplings. In the north, glutinous rice is called jiangmai. Thinking of this, Gu Huiyan couldn't look directly at this brother. I just thought, let's keep the distance as much as possible. Netizens of this generation not only like to knock against unpopular people, but also like to knock against the evil ones. Gu Huiyan himself has a CP physique and is prone to being CP with anyone. In the past, there were many people who knocked on Su Yuntang, so I'm afraid it would be a big deal to get a CP with this brother. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye, the next day came. This is the day when Hello Life Partners starts airing. As soon as the show started airing, the traffic in the live broadcast room soared, and the barrage went crazy. Ah! It's coming, it's coming. Everyone, let me go first, where is my brother? My brother deserves to enjoy the ancestral temple. To be honest, my brother is the only one worth taking a look at in this lineup. It's far worse than Crystal Love Season. Because the program was officially announced in advance, the gimmick of Gu Huiyan's second resident lifestyle variety show immediately ignited countless fans, and there were so many guests, so there must be a lot of people paying attention. Before the show started, tens of thousands of people were watching online at the same time. Once it started, nearly 100,000 people came in just a few minutes. And it continues to soar. It's enough to imagine how popular the show is. It is worth mentioning that some people occasionally can't help but complain about the guest lineup. There is no way, after all, this show is Gu Huiyan's second regular variety show after Crystal Love Season. The guest lineup of Crystal Love Season includes actor Su Yuntang, red carpet goddess Xylin, top-notch Zhang Shuo, and Xioma Shangzhou. Yan, internal entertainment god Yan Pei Jingshu. That is really called a galactic battleship. Although the guest lineup of the current show Hello Life Partner is quite good, if you compare the celebrity status, traffic, and reputation, the group of guests together cannot compare to 1/10 of the cast lineup of Crystal Love Season. I don't blame the audience for complaining. Who gave Gu Huiyan a too high start in the variety show road? And everyone understands that the guest lineup of Crystal Love Season has never been replicated in the entire history of variety shows. Back to business. The camera turned slightly and showed the interior of the resort. Hello, hello. The program team knew how to master the traffic password, and they showed Gu Huiyan in the first scene. As soon as Gu Huiyan appeared in the live broadcast room, the barrage exploded. AHH. It's him. It's him. We are friends, little Neza. Get out. That's my brother. My brother deserves to enjoy the ancestral temple. It seems that since the free release of Gu Huiyan's Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs became a hot topic, almost all comment sections where Gu Huiyan is present are posting. My brother deserves to enjoy the ancestral temple. It's also hilariously tight. Gu Huiyan appeared in front of the audience's camera, wearing a black patterned sleeveless vest and a large grey kukazi, a very familiar Gu Huiyan style outfit and a standard battle robe. Just not wearing his combat boots flip-flops. It's not that Gu Huiyan doesn't want to wear them, it's mainly because he has to drive in slippers later. Aren't you going to teach the audience a bad lesson? Audiences are always finding faults. Gu Huiyan was taking Sister Xylin and the others to ride shared bicycles the whole time, and the cameraman who was filming the two riding an electric bike even came out to find fault. At this time, the program introduced Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan, well-known singer, musician, and songwriter. Representative works, Sunny Day, Meet, Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs, etc. It is worth mentioning that when Gu Huiyan appeared on the stage, the program team dubbed him the prelude of Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs, a melody with a strong rhythm. Oh! Some viewers' eyes lit up. In the past, when Gu Huiyan appeared, he played Reverse War, but now when he plays this, it feels quite igniting. Occasionally, viewers will say, "It's good to have copyright. This thing is still a joke." The variety show that Gu Huiyan participated in was not produced by his own company. Now the copyright of Gu Huiyan's works basically belongs to him and the company. The variety shows produced by his company and the variety shows he participated in, then basically I can sing my songs whenever I want to, and how I want to sing them. Many fans were very happy when they first learned about this. You know, it's not that many singers don't want to sing their own songs for the audience to listen to on the show. The problem is that if you sing more than 4 lines, you have to ask for copyright. If you sing, it's still a matter of whether the other people's program team can broadcast it. The most noteworthy ones are the paid songs, which cannot be sung live. Why? Because if you sing live, some live version of the music source will be available online. That version will definitely not be charged. And if everyone listens to this song, who will listen to the paid version if you can listen to the free live version? But Gu Huiyan has no such scruples. Because his songs are all free. The works are all free, produced by our own company, and you can participate in them. You can sing the works as you like. It is precisely because of this that this show has a big gimmick about Gu Huiyan. So when the show started airing, So many people went crazy and said, "My brother deserves to enjoy the ancestral temple. It's free for brothers to benefit from it. Who does not like?" Just when everyone was posting comments, suddenly, the camera turned. Why? And brother. A whistling, squeaking sound that many viewers were very familiar with reached their ears. Immediately afterwards, the young writer Shen Qingqing, who was very familiar to the audience, appeared in their field of vision. Today's clip on Shen Qingqing is wearing a pair of pink trousers, which are very loose and high-waisted, making the entire legs look quite long. Today's female celebrities seem to like high-waisted trousers. Although the legs are not exposed on the lower body, the design of the small clip is on the upper body. A colorful suspender top like a belly band is simply hung, and the shoulders, beautiful back, navel, almost all of the upper body is exposed. Two good-looking braids are hanging casually behind the ears, and there are some old and good-looking little braids on the top of the head. The whole image is full of vitality and vitality. How about a girl? Let me tell you, I haven't seen you for nearly a year, and the outfit of this little clip has improved a lot. Gu Huiyan didn't even recognize it when he saw it. Of course, Shen Qingqing didn't give Gu Huiyan time to react. "Ah, I miss you so much." She trotted all the way and rushed towards him, with a look like "I haven't seen him for a long time and I really miss him," so she rushed into Gu Huiyan and returned to Ali. She hugged Gu Huiyan tightly, not avoiding suspicion at all. She was wearing very little. To be precise, her upper body was almost as if she was not wearing anything. It was just a piece of clothing that looked like a belly band. So when her whole body fell on Gu Huiyan, it was called transparent. Gu Huiyan was just like holding her without any clothes on. This made Gu Huiyan dare not move. He just raised his hand in the air and dared not put it down anywhere, for fear of putting it in the wrong position and being scolded by fans. At the same time, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think, isn't this little clip afraid of being scolded? Look. At this moment, the audience next door was already yelling like crazy. "Let go of my brother. You use me, Sister Pei, as heir. You want to die, don't you? Young, this is King character, don't worry about it. What's your personality? Do you like to rub against me?" Yes, Shen Qingqing is such a flirty character. She likes to create various topics, such as when she hugged Gu Huiyan so passionately. She knew very well that this kind of topic would be hot and some people might scold her, but it would also bring her a lot of attention. Why do you think she became famous? She used to rely on Zhang Shuo to become famous, and until the basketball program some time ago, she had been tied to Zhang Shuo for marketing. Something happened to Zhang Shuo recently. The stir-fried rice noodles were mixed with chicken essence. She had to avoid the limelight for the time being. Wouldn't she immediately do a cut with Zhang Shuo? Zhang Shuo no longer has this thigh to rub against, so he must find another thigh. Although Gu Huiyan's thigh has only grown in a short time, it is already thick. Much thicker than Zhang Shuo. If this thigh is hugged, Shen Qingqing can cling to it for a long time. What? You said he has a girlfriend? What happened? I don't date him and I don't want to be his girlfriend, so I just flirt with him. He and Pei Jingshu are in the same room and I still indulge in sweets. Is there anything wrong with him? But what is a pity is that Gu Huiyan is not Zhang Shuo. Ahem, that, Qingqing. He just coughed lightly and said to Shen Qingqing. Let me be honest, it's just the two of us. We're actually not that familiar. You don't need to be so enthusiastic every time you see me. As soon as these words came out, the audience laughed like crazy. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 231. Ahaha, I'm laughing so hard. What I'm saying is, Gu Huiyan, you really don't even bother to pretend. After all, we are now a big star. Sometimes we can just pretend to be so sophisticated, ha ha ha. In fact, many celebrities and artists are not familiar with them personally. Even if they are college classmates or have filmed movies together, they are not very familiar with them. On the one hand, everyone is usually busy with their own affairs and work, and it is easy to get together. So Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu have not had any contact for 3 to 5 months, and people still say that they are not familiar with each other, let alone those people. As for those new dramas that go to the development conference and the leading actors are not familiar with each other, it is more normal. Generally speaking, it takes more than a year from the completion of filming to editing, submission for review, broadcasting, pre-broadcasting, etc. of a movie. Those CPS you are bumping into in front of the screen may not have seen each other for several years, so it's amazing that they are familiar with each other. Therefore, most of the CPS you usually see who come out to do business, or those who pretend to be good brothers, good sisters, good best friends, etc. before the show, are all just pretending. In line with the show, the audience who is on the show as if they are strangers must also be embarrassed. Especially those good girlfriends and the like, that's so fake. Let me tell you, women's friendships are much more interesting than men's friendships. Have you watched The Legend of Zhen Huan? Well, that's about it. Take Gu Huiyan and Shen Qingqing for example. They recorded together for several days in Crystal Love Season and even almost slept in the same bed due to an accident. But to be honest, I'm not familiar with it. It was almost the final stage of Crystal Love Season when she went there, and they didn't stay for a few days together. Gu Huiyan's biggest impression of her was her pitiful confession to Zhang Shuo on the last night of Business Matters. What about people? No matter what their relationship was like, she wouldn't be so close to Gu Huiyan when she came up. What's more, they haven't seen each other for nearly a year. She hugged Gu Huiyan like this when she came up, pretending to be familiar with her in front of the screen. To be honest, Gu Huiyan was really not used to it. Of course, Gu Huiyan also knew that she wanted to gain popularity. But there are still fundamental differences between Gu Huiyan and Zhang Shuo. Zhang Shuo has a heavy burden as an idol. It's so heavy that even if Shen Qingqing tries to get his attention, he can't say anything at all, for fear of saying the wrong thing and affecting his idol image. As an idol, you have to pretend and be careful. But Gu Huiyan doesn't have any idol baggage on him. His personality and image have always been that of a real, down-to-earth, straight-talking type. As for the fear of being scolded for saying the wrong thing, such as saying that he is uneducated, polite, and has no quality or other bullshit, then it doesn't matter anymore. Gu Huiyan was scolded all the way here, but Xiao Hezi only got slapped in the face. In the words of a fan, my brother is a ruin, and he is still afraid of being scolded. So when Shen Qingqing was trying to catch Gu Huiyan's attention, Gu Huiyan could say things like we are not familiar with each other without any sense of violation. Hello. Shen Qingqing jumped angrily after hearing this, pinched her slender waist with both hands, pouted her little mouth and said in a coquettish tone. We haven't seen each other for so long. You don't miss me but I still miss you. We are still friends after all. Are you treating me like this? Gu Huiyan smiled and was about to say something. That's almost it? Not far away, a familiar voice suddenly came. Gu Huiyan and Shen Qingqing looked towards the direction of the sound with the camera. Zhang Ma and teacher He Yu, who looked very neat wearing a pair of sunglasses, came together. The barrage introduction from the program team was also given to them at that time. Zhang Dan, famous producer, domestic entertainment talent show Yeast. He Yu, famous host and singer. Their introduction is actually relatively simple, but after getting to know them a little, you will know that these two are definitely seniors. One has produced countless programs, and the other is the head host of Orange Channel. It is worth mentioning that teacher He was carrying a small box in his hand, like that. A box for tea sets. Oh. As soon as Mother Zhang and Teacher He arrived, the audience immediately felt as if their parents were here. Shen Qingqing was originally holding Gu Huiyan's arm to make some mischief, but when she saw Zhang Ma, she immediately put her hand down obediently. She stuck out her tongue playfully, then immediately leaned over and shouted. Mother Dan, Teacher He. Diao misses you so much. She is still so coy and naughty, which makes people feel uncomfortable. But don't tell me, elders usually like this. Zhang Ma laughed and nodded, saying okay, I'll give you some sweets. Teacher He laughed a few words and said to Shen Qingqing. Qingqing, our little Gu has a girlfriend. Remember to keep an appropriate distance from others and be careful not to overdo it. He is considered a good old guy in the industry and treats everyone well. Shen Qingqing likes to be popular, but it's all for his own sake. He's not a bad person. Her kind is actually quite good, but she just rubs her in front of the camera. Some people like to drag people to hotels to rub her behind the camera. That is really morally corrupt. Okay. Little Jizip pursed his lips and looked reluctant, scolding him no matter what. He. Teacher He chuckled. Just as Gu Huiyan came over, he said hello to Gu Huiyan. The two held hands and Teacher He said. It's really, I feel so sad. He looked at Zhang Dan beside him and said. I remember the first time I saw him was backstage at our music show. At that time, he was still masked and he was singing for the Jingshi gang. Who would have thought that in less than a year, he would already be the new king? He is a famous talker after all. He is very good at praising people and always makes people feel comfortable. But in the end, what he said is indeed the truth. It was probably July or August when Gu Huiyan went to sing for Pei Jingshu in Singer of the Times. At that time, Gu Huiyan was just a popular variety star on the show. He was even crazily smeared because of fried cow dung and his own root. Do you look at it now? With a high-quality solo debut album, Gu Huiyan's traffic and popularity in the industry have skyrocketed. After Crystal Love season, he has hardly appeared on variety shows. Variety shows are all about exposure. Without exposure, there are generally no resources. But even though he is not on variety shows, Gu Huiyan's resources and announcements are not lacking at all, and his popularity and reputation have always been maintained very high. Even during this period, new songs such as Together No Matter How Far Away, Meet, Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs and other songs were released. His current popularity is no longer a temporary one, but a redness that can last for a long time and aspire to be the king of heaven. In less than a year, Teacher He also met Gu Huiyan several times at work, and he became more popular almost every time he met him. Some artists' acting careers have ups and downs, but Gu Huiyan just got on a helicopter and skyrocketed to the top. So enviable. I am overflattered. In this regard, Gu Huiyan was still a little modest, but Ma Zhang next door said with a smile. Don't even look at whose company he is an artist. She really knows how to polish her face. Yes, you have vision, Xiao Gu is a 1,000-mile horse, and you are bull. Teacher He didn't argue with her. The two of them had been friends for many years. Zhang Ma often invited him to host her programs. As they worked together for a long time, their friendship developed. Get in the car first. The program crew's car came over, and Gu Huiyan helped carry the luggage into the car. There are always people who accuse Gu Huiyan of being unqualified, rude, and uneducated, but no one accuses him of being lazy. During Crystal Love season, he helped Zuoyan Shang and Pei Jingshu carry their luggage throughout the whole process. Even now that he is famous, he will still help Teacher He and Ma Zhang carry their luggage. Even if Shen Qingqing's suitcase couldn't be lifted, Gu Huiyan would help. Thank you, Brother Huiyan is such a gentleman. The little clip also gave Gu Huiyan a wink. Gu Huiyan didn't see it, so he couldn't help but asked. Why do you girls always have heavy luggage? It's like it's filled with rocks. Because there are so many things. The little clip said with a smile. Brother Hawaiian, what you mean is, have you ever moved a suitcase for any girl besides me? She is such a T. It was like Gu Hawaiian couldn't carry suitcases for other girls besides her. Gu Hawaiian said calmly. I'm moving it for my girlfriend. Her suitcase is quite heavy. It's heavier than yours, and it has more luggage than you. As soon as these words came out. Shen ching ching. I felt humiliated for a moment. Ah ha ha ha. The audience burst into laughter. One person said that Gu Hawaiian was also very good at connotation. His sentence heavier than yours is more than yours. He just directly said that Pei Jingshu is prettier than Shen Qingqing Hong and Shen Ching Ching. Because he is more popular and good looking than her, he has to carry more cosmetics and luggage in his suitcase. All I have to do is tell Shen Ching Ching directly that Pei Jingshu is a few seconds behind you. If you have a girlfriend like that, I will not look down on you. He. Mother Zhang had already got on the bus. Teacher, he was holding a thermos cup and drinking tea, watching with a smile. Let's go, who among us will drive? Let me drive. Then Gu Huiyan must do his part. A few people got on the bus, and the little boy chirped and said that he wanted to sit in the passenger seat. Usually men's passenger seats are reserved for women, so he felt a little superior or something. Gu Huiyan didn't even pay attention to this. He just sat in the driver's seat and became familiar with the environment of the car. This car was provided by the sponsor of the show. It is not a particularly expensive car. It costs about hundreds of thousands. Domestic subs are actually fully equipped at this price. No one will buy domestically produced subs no matter how expensive they are. Cars are different from car to car. The brake and accelerator of the automatic transmission must be in the same position, but the shift lever is different. You have to figure out how to dial it. In addition, you have to play music while driving, and the media devices in various cars are different, so you need to be familiar with them. So after getting in the car, Gu Huiyan looked forward and back. Mother Zhang in the back seat was amused by what he was doing, and she asked with a smile. I asked, can you drive? Ah ha ha. Everyone was happy, and Gu Huiyan felt like he had never driven a car before. I definitely will. Gu Huiyan took a few glances, then no longer hesitated, put the gear in gear, released the brakes, and stepped on the accelerator. Why don't you leave? But the car didn't move. Gu Huiyan stepped on the accelerator, causing the car to shake. Teacher He and Mother Zhang behind were shocked, and Mother Zhang was furious. What are you doing? Didn't you say you could drive it? Hey. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and said sorry with a smile. He took a look and realized that he was not wearing a seat belt just now. The electric handbrake did not release automatically when shifting into gear, and the accelerator pedal naturally did not move. It's been too long since I stopped driving, sorry. Gu Huiyan apologized quickly. It's really not his fault. He usually drives too little. Except for a few trips to the city when he met Shang Zuoyan during the Chinese New Year, he almost never drives at all. When working, the assistant always arranges a car for him, and he usually can't drive it. 3 or 4 months have passed since the Chinese New Year, and it is normal to forget some things. Jiang's mother had black lines on her forehead. Teacher, he said. No, I'll drive it. No, I'm fine. As Gu Huiyan spoke, he released the brake, stepped on the accelerator, turned the steering wheel, and the car drove off smoothly. At this point, everyone just breathed a sigh of relief. I always feel like this guy is a bit unreliable. The amount of barrages is actually a bit smaller now, because Gu Huiyan is not doing much, and there is nothing to talk about, and it is hard for everyone to brag about. You can't just care about Huiyan's poor driving skills and come down to earth, right? That's carelessness. isn't it? But who knew that at this moment? Ding dong dong. Gu Huiyan's cell phone placed on the stand suddenly rang. Gu Huiyan glanced at it, then swiped to answer the question, and then came a burst from the other side. Hello sir, this is insurance, may I ask what you need recently? Gu Huiyan must have said subconsciously. No need to thank you. Then I plan to hang up the phone. As a result, at this time, teacher He Yuhi from behind suddenly said. Don't. We need it. As soon as these words came out. Ahaha. It made a group of people laugh. Everyone instantly understood what teacher he meant, which was that Gu Huiyan, who was driving so unreliably, must need insurance. It was very funny. Gu Huiyan was just worried about driving, so he got a call from the insurance company. Some netizens couldn't help but express. Gu Huiyan, you are also a man favored by the god of variety shows. Knowing that he has no program effect, no one can take the initiative to contribute program effect to him. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but feel happy. He once said that teacher He's response was really quick and he was worthy of being the leading host of Orange Channel. While laughing, several people set off on their way. A few people were chatting on the road. It was always a quiet place where the well-known host Hiyu was present. Of course, the topic mainly revolved around Gu Huiyan. Teacher He kept praising Gu Huiyan, saying that he was talented, down-to-earth, not impetuous, and that he didn't go on various variety shows after becoming famous to polish his works. Wait for these. One thing to say is that Gu Huiyan's current status is indeed established by his works. Some popular actors have become famous after one movie. I don't know if there will be a second one. But Gu Huiyan has not only one song that became popular, almost all of his songs have become popular. First quality. Speaking of recent songs, teacher He said that the recently released song Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs was quite nice, and then he felt happy. You can play it if you want to listen, it's okay, we have the copyright. The implication is to stop being a little more obvious. Haha. Teacher He became very happy and said, who said our little Gu has low emotional intelligence? I was the first to fall out with him. Then, this song was played directly in the car. Dong 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 dong. The high burning melody of the drum set aroused everyone's emotions as soon as it came on. When talking about this song, teacher He couldn't help but ask. So Xiaogu, why do you want to write such a song? It just feels like it doesn't fit in with his style, it's a bit nonsensical and mindless and happy. Mother Zhang is also quite curious about this. How should I put it? Gu Huiyan rarely takes the initiative to write songs without any reason. Previously, the new album was requested by the company. Together no matter how far away and meet were because of Pei Jingshu. So what is the reason for this song Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs? Gu Huiyan thought for a while and explained. It was because of a friend. She was not in a good state at that time, so I just wanted to write a song like this to make her happy. As soon as these words came out, people started to guess in the comment area which friend Gu Huiyan was talking about. During the Chinese New Year period, friends who were in bad shape. Shang Zuoyan. As expected. Someone thought of Shang Zuoyan. In fact, starting from the few months at the end of last year, Shang Zuoyan's poor condition was no longer a private matter. It had been on trending searches and many people knew about it. Fans feel very sorry for her. She received a lot of publicity online in the first half of the year, and she lost so much weight that Luren felt heartbroken after seeing her. This time on the program Hello Life Partner, all three teammates of their group came, but she did not come. There were people discussing it before, saying why there was almost no news about Shang Zuoyan after the new year. Now when Gu Huiyan mentions friends who are in bad condition, everyone will naturally think of Shang Zuoyan. It turns out it's for Shang Zuoyan. Realizing this, some people will be a little moved. Shang Xuoyan and Gu Huiyan are the hard feelings of many people. They had almost no interaction after the concert. During that time, Shang Xuoyan was in poor condition and he did not speak out. Although everyone understood that he had a girlfriend and needed to avoid suspicion, but she liked him so much and was in such a bad state at that time, so he had to speak out, right? For this reason, some people have said that Gu Huiyan. But I never thought that Gu Huiyan wrote a song for Shang Xuoyan, which was about happiness. As a person, he always doesn't like to talk about many things, but that doesn't mean he doesn't do them. Then you have a heart. Teacher, he nodded, and Zhang Ma smiled and said nothing, looking like someone who had been there before. On the other hand, the little clip Shen Qingqing didn't feel self-conscious at all, she actually pouted her lips and said, "So, Brother Huiyan, are you writing to me? I haven't been in a good state during the Chinese New Year." As soon as these words came out, just silence everyone. Immediately afterwards, the barrage exploded directly on the spot. What the hell? I can't stand this woman. Ah! Can she die? I have never seen such a mean woman. The problem is that she can talk about other things, but she mentions herself when everyone thinks of Shang Xuoyan. Let's just say, is Shang Xuoyan comparable to Shen Qingqing? No matter in terms of business ability, personality, appearance, figure, no matter how bad her condition is, Shang Xuoyan can do tens or hundreds of seconds, not only 10 or 8 seconds after her, right? How can she compare with Shang Xuoyan?